Hey guys, Sean here. Welcome to the F1 Word and to the qualifying watch-along for the 2025 British Grand Prix. Yes, it is Silverstone weekend, and Sean's a little bit hyped because I've got the Ferrari shirt out because we look competitive. I don't want to jinx it, but we look competitive. Actually, to be fair, pretty much every team at the front looks competitive this weekend. It was so close in FP3. We'll get into all of that in a moment. Let's see how you're all getting on today. We'll do some shout outs as always. So hey to I think I saw Michael up there. Hey Pascal, hey Craig, Candy Park as well, to Kaori, to Tenzin, to Paul, to PS4 Gamer, hey to J-Web, to Jithu as well, and to Fud. Hope you're all having a good Saturday. Hey to Kevin as well. Hopefully enjoying your weekend so far. And Scott too. We'll get a few more popping in now saying hi, so I'll try and keep it out of some names. Hey to Hillbilly Reefer as well. Good to see you again, mate. Hope you're having a good weekend so far. Still early in the weekend, so plenty to enjoy. But yeah, it looks pretty close out there this weekend, and lots of stuff to get excited about, I think, around this one. Hey, Annette as well. Hey to Enjugus. Jugs. Yeah, I'll butcher names. I do apologise, but yeah. How's the weather, Shorts, says Jithu? So here in Lincoln, murky, miserable but warm. Thunderstorms tomorrow. At Silverstone, dry at the moment, but there is a threat of rain. It's a little bit overcast all day so far, so there might be a threat of rain. We'll see what happens, but cooler temperatures certainly brought some others into play. Hi RC as well. Paul is watching for the Philippines. Thank you very much for your support, mate. And Fodge says hello from the Woodcote stand, literally here right now. What's the weather doing then? Fodge, you could be our weather person for the weekend. Hey Daniel as well. Hope you're doing all right. Yeah, lots to talk about today. We'll go through the FP3 order, and then we'll see where we're at from there. So Charles Leclerc did top the morning session. It was Lando Norris who topped FP2, and it was Lewis Hamilton who topped FP1. So who knows what's going on out there. But there were less than 700ths of a second between Leclerc in P1 and Piastri in P2. Max Verstappen less than a tenth further back, with Norris just over a tenth by 8 thousandths in fourth place. Yuki Tsunoda up in fifth place. Should be said, Sky have pointed out already, so I'll say it as well. Lewis Hamilton's lap in FP3, red flag came out, so he didn't actually manage to get that one in, so he is definitely better than 11th, but we'll get into that shortly. Ollie Bearman 6th, he's in trouble though. He's got a 10 place grid drop, for tomorrow's race, having it's rookie error, full stop, isn't it? Having tried to push the pit entry on red flag conditions. I think they said that he was quicker on pit entry under the red flag than he was without a red flag. So 10 place grid drop all day long. You're going to get one of those. Alex Albon 7th, George Russell 8th, Isack Hadjar 9th, and Liam Lawson 10th. 11th for Lewis Hamilton, didn't get his running, of course. Carlos Sainz 12th, Esteban Ocon 13th, Antonelli 14th. Of course, he's got a 3-place grid drop for that crash with Verstappen, and again, by crash with Verstappen, I mean where he ploughed into Verstappen. Hulkenberg 15th, Bortoletto 16th. He had a weird moment in FP3. He had a spin, suspension broke as he was spinning, and so a lot of work going on down at Sauber. Should be okay. Didn't hit the barrier, so it is just a suspension change. Fernando Alonso 17th, Colapinto 18th, Stroll 19th, and Gasly in 20th place. So yeah, looking pretty close out there. 2.3 seconds separating the field, but actually only a second from P1 down to 15th. So this is going to be close. It could be anyone's. You guys in chat there, you've been voting on the poll, who will take, or which team will take pole for the British Grand Prix. 52% of you are saying McLaren, 37% Ferrari, 6% Red Bull, 4% Mercedes. Get your votes in. We'll end that at about 3 o'clock UK time. It's about 20 minutes, just see where we're at that point. So yeah, Ferrari looked good. I've put the Ferrari shirt on, so fully ready for a Q2 exit, and it also fall apart as it always does. But Max Verstappen, I mean, he ain't out of this either. They're in third place. So still think McLaren's day. Maybe the cooler temperatures, I know what you think in chat, but maybe the cooler temperatures helping some of these other teams, maybe hindering McLaren a little bit. I don't know. We'll find out. But surprise Mercedes aren't higher up. So I still think there's more to come from them. Could be really interesting in this one. Looking forward to it massively. I always do for quality though, don't I? Hey to Rocket Raccoon. It says, come on, Ferrari, please. Hello, everyone. Love from Lone Star State, like always. Thank you very much, mate. Appreciate that. Good to see you again. It appears to have reverted from the ats to your normal names now for some reason. So YouTubing, as always. Hey to Scott Tomorrow as well. Anyone else starting to think Bearman is starting to have a bit of a Mick Schumacher about him, not in a good way? Question mark. Not yet. We'll give it a few more. Keeps doing it, maybe, but yeah. I'm not going to read that. We'll come back to that later. Yeah, hope you're having a good one. I'm ready for this one. We'll do predictions all sorts as well. But yeah, get some questions in as always. We like to do a bit of a community Q&A style thing, don't we, at the start of these streams and towards the end as well. So let's do that. But I will be keeping you updated on what happens in the session, which starts in about 20 minutes time. So lots of action, I'm sure. I think this could be good. They're just going around the circuit now with Lando Norris in a helicopter. So there you go. Ferrari updates looking good so far, says Hillbilly. Yep, absolutely. Good start to the weekend. Obviously, only practice. Let's see what happens when everything's cranked up and ready to go for quali. Hopefully, they will be in the mix. And just to confirm as well, just checking it now, Antonelli 3-place grid drop. Bearman 10 places. Not surprised on the Bearman one or the Antonelli one, quite frankly. I think we all said in the stream, didn't we, when we're watching it live, that's got a penalty written all over it. So there we go. But hopefully some more pace in the Mercedes and down there for sure. Jordan says McRae Provincial Park near Orillia in Ontario, says Jordan. So he's camping in Canada. Taking a punt there. Suspension fairly for Bortoletto. That was lucky it happened where it happened, as it could have been a massive crash. Still could have been a massive crash. I mean, Chapel is not a slow corner, is it, Pascal? It's quite a scary thought in there. So Foster, seeing it in really life, you don't understand how twitchy and nervous these cars are. It's nuts. It's obviously not everyone can afford to do it because it is an expensive weekend or even an expensive day out. But if you can get to see an F1 race in person, definitely do it. It really will surprise you. The biggest surprise for me the first time I went, which wasn't until 2016, unbelievably. When I was younger, we weren't in a position to be able to afford that. So, but in 2016 was the first time I went at 30 years old. And all I'd heard for 2 or 3 years was how quiet these turbo hybrid engines are. No, they're still pretty damn loud. Louder than next year's are going to be by the sounds of it. That's what I was going to read you because I thought this was really interesting. And some of you will probably tell me that it's really not that interesting because it's Lance Stroll, but I'm going to read it to you anyway. Pulled it from the audio that we got through on the WhatsApp group earlier. And Stroll was asked about the new regulations for 2026. And a lot of you will know my position on this. I hate them at the moment. I really would rather we didn't, but, here we are. He said, and I'll quote him here, "Bit sad if you ask me. It's a bit of a shame Formula One has taken that path of electric energy and we've had to shut all the downforce off the cars to support the battery power. It should be fun to see some light, nimble, fast cars with a lot of downforce and just simplify the whole thing a little bit." Lance Stroll for FIA president, please. Then says, less so of energy battery championships, science project, and more of just Formula One racing championships. He was then asked a little bit about how it's going to work next year with energy deployment. I think the question was along the lines of, is the whole app dominated by energy deployment and all of that business? He said a lot of it is about that. I don't know if that's racing, but it's going to be the same for everyone next year. So it's all going to be about who can do the best, and I'm sure whoever is doing the best is going to love the new regulations. He goes on to say he's not a fan of the direction, but if we have a fast car and we are competitive and we're doing better than everyone else, that's when you've got nothing to complain about. I don't like the idea of the regulations. I think a lot of the drivers can agree on that. Maybe some of them can't talk about it for political reasons. But it's exciting to think about cars that can scream a little bit louder, be a bit lighter, and not focus so much on the energy like battery powertrain. That's not very racy. 100% agree with him. And I feel like that's the first time, correct me if I'm wrong, chat, but I feel like that's the first time we've had a driver come out quite so against it. We've had a lot of talk about things they're concerned about and things they want changing and things they're not happy with. But that feels like the first time someone's come out and said, these are crap. We don't really want them. So interesting stuff. I thought it was worth a mention. I completely agree with him on it. I hate the direction we're going, and I still think if you've got to make all these changes and bring in all these gimmicks to try and make a power unit work effectively how you want it to and get the speed back and the downforce back in the way they're having to because the cars just are so, and the power units are so ridiculous, then we've gone in the wrong direction. But there you go. We had that little flirt, didn't we, a few months ago with the idea of V10s or V8s returning, but that never came to anything. I don't think it ever will. I think we'll be stuck with this, and it will. I still stand by what I said, 7 years ago now, when we first got what became the 2022 regs through. originally at the time, of course, 2021, that there'll come a point where F1 will have to make a decision on whether it wants to go all electric or whether it's going to have to pivot and go in another direction. And I'm hoping this sustainable fuels is the way forward, because yeah, I don't like next year's rules. And I hope I'm going to be wrong as well. I hope I'm proven wrong. I hope they're brilliant and they give us great racing and all this is just doom and gloom and we're all worrying over nothing. But yeah, I mean, 2014 people didn't like, did they? And it did come good. So maybe there's something in that. Initially, I think it's going to be it's going to suck, but that's just my view. So yes, Lance Stroll for FIA president, or if we can't have Lance Stroll, Tim Mayer will do. He's going to be running for the FIA presidency up against Mohammed Ben Sulayem. My personal opinion, it is any opinion, the sooner we can get rid of him, the better. But there you go. Tim Mayer's come out punching, by the way, talking about tyrannical reign and all of this from Mohammed Ben Sulayem. So it's going to be quite a catty one. I think it's December, the election. So, but I think Ben Sulayem should be pretty safe in that position. He'll probably be re-elected, but hopefully Tim can give a run for his money, because yeah, I don't agree with a lot of what he's done. I don't know why those pictures have cropped like that, so apologies. I'll see if I can fix that for tomorrow. So yeah, but again, back to the 2026 stuff. Hopefully it's all just doom and gloom at this stage. It turns out to be okay. It is very telling to me that the first test is going to be behind closed doors and not televised, and a lot of people are angry about that. But actually, if you're a team, you're going to this new regulation era, you've got lots of sponsors on your cars and you've been hyping up your season, do you really want that first proper shakedown of your car at a test where your car is likely to break down left, right and centre? The drivers are going to struggle, they're going to look slower, they might not sound very good. Do you really want that televised, or do you want to shake out the kinks first and then be televised? I think we know why that's happening. So I was sceptical Sean at it again, but yeah, I believe that's why they are going with a more closed doors approach. We'll see some stuff, of course. There'll be things leaked and there'll be things that that teams can put out, but it sounds like it's going to be very, very quiet. And that is at the what's the word I'm looking for? Not, is it behest? It could be behest, but it's a decision being taken by the teams, that one, pretty much. They want that closed, so don't blame them. But we have got 2 Bahrain tests that are going to be fully televised, so that could be a thing. Certainly going to be interesting. So let's see what happens. Let's see what happens, but not optimistic. What do you guys say? I'm you know what I'm like. I don't like change. Will Bottas' car be fixed in time for quali, says J Web? I would think so. Ted's going down the pit lane now. It was, like I say, it didn't go ploughing into the barrier, so it's a lot of work, but it's less work than it would have been if he'd hit that wall. So it's not sort of like he's binned it and smashed up the back of the car and might need an engine and gearbox and all of that. So hopefully should be okay. We'll find out soon enough. We're only 12 minutes away from the start now. Craig says midday start for quali. Depends where you are, Craig. It's 3 p.m. UK, so in about 12 minutes. So it probably will be about midday, won't it? Yeah. I think the suspension failed because of the spin, not the suspension caused the spin. Yeah, the suspension failed as it went over the grass. It didn't seem to like going up, did it? And then it broke. So V10s were awesome, says Craig. Completely agree. Even the V8s were fine. They really, really were. But, you know, that's not old man yells at cloud, rose-tinted spectacles or anything like that. I used to like the noise of those compared to what we have now, but these are still pretty loud, to be fair. Alfie says, sorry I'm late. I don't know what's happened, but did Sean just say Lance Stroll for FIA president? That's the worrying thought. Hey, just because he said something I agree with, that's all it is. I'm quite fickle. Say something I agree with, I will put you forward for FIA presidency, guaranteed. So there you go. That's, you know me by now. You know me by now, Alfie. You know what I'm like. On the other hand, without the new regs, Audi 4 Cadillac wouldn't be coming back to F1, says Pascal. You can always tell when Sean's got... Now I've got a face cam, I can't get away with hiding it, can I? You can always tell when Sean's got 2 conflicting thoughts in his mind that are not going to be popular. I'm not going to go at you, Pascal, but... So... It doesn't... It's nice to have the manufacturers, but if we hadn't had Audi and Cadillac and that, I wouldn't be crying about it, to be honest. And don't forget, Cadillac aren't building an engine until... Well, they're starting it now. It won't be ready till 28, somewhere around there. So I'm not that fussed. You could argue as well, if we hadn't got the regulations, we still have Renault, and Honda maybe wouldn't have... I don't know. I understand the hype around manufacturers, but I'm also very aware that, you know, BMW, Toyota, Honda, Renault coming and going. Cosworth were here once, they disappeared. You know, as long as Mercedes, Ferrari stick around, and then one of Honda or Renault, I'm perfectly fine with that. It's nice to have the manufacturers, don't get me wrong. I'm not being negative on Audi coming in. I'm quite looking forward to seeing what they could do with that team, but if they hadn't turned up, I wouldn't have been losing any sleep over it. Maybe F1 would have done, I don't know. But you've got to remember as well, it's a business. So a lot of these manufacturers and new teams that want to come in, they all want to come in now while the sport's popular. Would they want to come in if that popularity drops off? Probably not. So there you go. I'm sorry. I'm not trying to be negative about Cadillac and Co joining. I'm looking forward to that. But yeah, it wouldn't have been bothered either way. But then we wouldn't have known, would we? So I guess we wouldn't be bothered. There you go. I'll believe when I see it if Cadillac actually ever builds an engine, says Moray. They say they've started, so I'll take them at face value on that one. They've got some good people in, but they're using Ferrari engines, aren't they, next year, which could be quite cool. Quite cool. Jordan says, smash that like button. Absolutely. 147 watching, 33 likes was his last count. That's where we're at. So yeah, please do drop a like. It's free to do. Doesn't really do much for me, but it does really help the channel in the algorithm. And, you know, if we want to keep things like this on the channel, then we need to make sure people keep watching. I know most of you will be here, whatever, unless I tell you to get lost. But yeah. Fudge says the wind seems to be okay, not too gusty. So that's it. I did see a few spots of water on the camera lens when they were talking to Max Verstappen there, or at least focusing on Max Verstappen, but I'm talking like 2. So there might be a little bit of rain in the air. We'll find out soon enough, but I wouldn't be surprised if rain just crops up. You know, it's like in the UK, it can just turn up out of nowhere. So I would recommend listening to the races interview with Graham Loudon. Decent amount of snippets how they are shaping up and how they start has been so far. I've listened to because our Thomas has done an exclusive interview as well with Graham Loudon, so I've just finished listening to that one, so that'll be out on planetf1.com later. So if you listen to that one, Fodge, then definitely give that one a listen when it comes out later as well, or a watch or read when it comes out later. So probably saying much of the same thing, but it's still nice to have a couple of different combos in there. So yeah, but yeah, he's quite, I think he always was, wasn't he, Graham Loudon? Quite pragmatic. He's not hyping the team up too much. He's being fluff everywhere again. He's being quite, pragmatic is the word I'd use. And, you know, all of the talk was about this American driver idea. He's kind of pushed that to one side and said, look, we're looking for experience and we're looking for the best drivers for the job right now rather than pushing the American thing. So I quite like his approach. I think back to the BAR days when they were going to buy Tyrrell and they were talking about, you know, winning races and championships and all of this. And I think a lot of people have learned from that mistake. They didn't score a single point in their first season, if you recall, in 99. So it wasn't all good, was it? But, you know, you've got to have ambition. Again, going back again, I tell you what I did do yesterday, actually. This is relevant. Stick with me. I watched the Hill documentary movie thing on Sky. Absolutely brilliant. Highly recommend it if you haven't seen it. It's quite emotional. It's quite deep. And it sort of shows Damon Hill in a whole new light to me. He was always Michael Schumacher's rival. I do think, much like Prost in the Senna movie, Schumacher's been painted, which I guess he was if you're a Hill fan, the villain. Obviously, 1994, he would have been the villain, but some of the things were a little bit editing-wise I wasn't sure about. But the actual story around it, you know, getting Georgie's views out there as well and how she felt about it. And, you know, Damon talked about his dad's death. Really, really great watch, and I'd rather watch something like that, you know, a Senna movie, a Schumacher movie, a Hill movie with that kind of raw footage and actual emotion and storytelling than the movies that we get now in Drive to Survive. But the point I was making was I remember, and they didn't cover this in the film, but I remember in 97, Tom Walkinshaw talking about Arrows potentially picking up podiums. And at the time, it was quite hilarious. And of course, eventually they did pick up a podium. So that was something. But teams have got to have ambition. You know, Williams know they're not going to win races most weekends. Sauber know it. But if they didn't think it was possible in some way, they wouldn't be there racing. So that's my belief. I might be wrong. That might be the romantic in me there. But yeah, definitely watch the Damon Hill movie. If you've never seen the Senna movie, watch that. If you've not seen the Schumacher documentary movie thing, That was tough. Give that a watch. That was very tough. But yeah, we are ready to go for qualified, by the way. 5 minutes away. The music's just kicking in. So I'll do all my usual getting things ready. Any questions or whatever, I'll quickly read some out, actually, to see what's happening. Even if you tell me to get lost, I'll still come in with a different account, says RC. Hey, Anushka, hope you're well. Got the Ferrari shirt on because we're doing it today, Anushka. We're going to get that pole position. Front row lockout, you never know. It's a business for technology, and technology is directly related to capitalism, which keeps the racing going, says Tommy. I'm not going to get as deep into it, but I like, yeah. I said what I said. The news that Max is Mercedes is true. That's a question from Paul. We can get into this a bit later if you want, after quali finishes, when we do a sort of bit Q&A for 20 minutes afterwards and look ahead to tomorrow. But as of today, no. Not for 2026. Do I dare drop 100% on this? 99.99999%. Basically 100% certain he will not be at Mercedes next year. What happens beyond that, 27, 28? That's a different conversation, but I think Max will still be in the Red Bull for 2026. I wouldn't blame him if he left, don't get me wrong, but I think that's where he'll stay for now. So let's do this, get this all settled then. So live timing, as always, is provided by the awesome folks over at Multiviewer for F1. Please do go check them out. Link in the description so you can customize your stream, your viewing experience is the phrase I'm going to use, with as much or as little data as you like. It is free to use the app, but you will need an F1 TV subscription of some sort, but F1 TV access is absolutely fine. And like I said before, in the UK, that's £2.29 a month, I think. So you get access to a lot of stuff, including the archive as well. So well worth checking out F1 TV anyway, but also checking out Multiviewer to go alongside it. Great companions, work very, very well. Thank you to those guys as always. That obviously means there'll be no on-track footage for the millionth time, obvious copyright reasons, but still need to explain it just in case. We'll have the track map when that kicks in. There it is, and live timing as well. So there we go. That's all my spiel done. We are 3 minutes away. I feel so old here in 97. Lol, I was 7 years young. Feels like forever. Jordan, you were how old was I in 97? I was 11. I just started secondary school. Boo. School. So yeah, a little bit older, Jordan. Not much. Just a little bit. 4 years. It's not a lot in the grand scheme of things. The question is, will Yuki be the Red Bull in 2026? Right, RC, I'll answer your first question, and then I might tell you to get lost after that second one. Red Bull in 26, Yuki Tsunoda, that's probably a bigger question than Max Verstappen. RC then followed that up by saying, I wasn't born in 1997. So, Sticklebrick was 20. To be fair, in the grand scheme of things, 9 years isn't a lot either. Maya reckons that Max will leave F1. He's sort of dismissed that this week. In fact, flatly dismissed it, and he will be in F1 next year is what he said. But I believe him, but always err on the side of caution with these things because, again, for the millionth time on this channel, Nico Rosberg signed a contract extension in 2016, then retired. So, you know, drivers will do as they like at the end of the day. Just, yeah, thought the TV was on loud for you all. Yes. Ready for this. Let's end the poll then. You should have had your votes in by now. I don't want, because I'll only forget anyway. So 53% of you have gone with McLaren for poll. Ferrari 38%. Red Bull 6%. Mercedes 2%. There you go. I think you're right to be pessimistic, if you like, about Mercedes. I think that it's going to be tough for them today, but it is cooler today. 19.2 degrees air temperature, 25.1 degrees track. So it might bring them into play. We'll see what happens. And if you are just tuning in, by the way, don't forget, or to let you know, Kimi Antonelli's got a 3-place grid drop following his lock up and crash into Max Verstappen at Austria. And Ollie Bearman has been given a 10-place grid drop for a red flag infringement, essentially. Attacked the pit lane entry way too hard on the red flag, flat out, lost control of his car and hit the wall. So he's been given a penalty for that one. That was a bit silly from him, but rookie season, always cut a rookie slack I always will. Yeah. Kevin says, RC, I was 31 in 1997. Everybody bow down to me. Lord Kevin. We'll call him Grandpa. He'll hate me for that, I'm sure. Yeah, it's a big penalty, Red Raven. But I can understand why. I mean, first of all, attacking the pit lane entry is fine, but under a red flag, it's you can't do that. Obviously, you know that, Red Raven. But then losing control of your car as well, double whammy. A bit of a silly thing to do. So 10 play, they've come down hard. But yeah, we are go for FP. I do this every week. It's qualifying, Sean. For qualifying one, not FP1, quali one. QFP1. There you go. Bortoleto and Hulkenberg straight out on track on the soft tyres. The risk of rain, it says no on multi-viewer. I think it was about 30% earlier today, so it does look like a little bit of moisture on cameras. People got coats on because they're cold, because they're wimps. 19 degrees, and you got your coat on. Goodness me. I don't put a coat on until it's about 10 degrees, and even then I'd rather not bother. Oh, God. Can Sainz get into Q2, please, says Maya. Yeah, he was quick enough this morning to do so. So hopefully, because see Williams have a good weekend, actually, wouldn't it? They've had a rocky few weeks, let's put it that way. So Red River says 10 seems a lot for what ended up happening, but perhaps that's one of those black and white rules with no wiggle room. Yeah, I think generally when it's a red flag infringement, they come down pretty hard, don't they? And I think there is rain on the radar, by the way. I think it is a bit of a slam dunk, but I think there is an element of the stewards being able to sort of take things into consideration and a bit of individual interpretation. But I think, yeah, 30%. I guessed it. 30% for rain. There you go. There are some amazing clips, races of the olden days of F1 on YouTube. Check out the latest, the lack of safety, and ultimately why they would raise the winner over their shoulders because they skirted death, says Tommy Guy. Gazzy's saying it's raining, by the way. So this could be interesting. We have got cars on track. I promise I will keep updated with the session. We like to have a bit of a waffle while we're waiting for people to sort of get big important laps in. We've got Kroon Chandok on the Sky pit wall, but actually on the pit wall. So I hope you're looking forward to a completely ridiculous amount of picture-in-picture or split screen because none of us know what Kroon Chandok looks like, you see, so we must see his face. It is raining. It is raining. It's not chucking it down. It's that fine rain, you know, soaks you through. Don't know you're getting wet. That horrible rain. It is raining. Actually, it cops quite a few spots of rain on the camera lens. So this could spice things up quite nicely, especially if it was to chuck it down now. we'd lose quite a lot of big runners, but I sort of, no disrespect to any of the top teams here, but it wouldn't be awful if McLaren and co waited and McLaren, Red Bull, Mercedes and Ferrari all got knocked out in Q1 or as close to as we could do, and then we get Saubers and Williamses and Alpines and Aston Martins going for pole. That'd be quite exciting, wouldn't it? So it's not raining hard enough yet to get that excited. Bortoleto looks though is still pretty flat through cops despite all the moisture on the camera lens. So no threat of that just yet, but it is raining. Drizzle. Yeah, as the Red Ravens, I was just going to say, everyone coming out now, teams have been given the message, it's drizzling, get out there now. So 27.475 for Bortoleto, 2,000ths quicker than Nico Hulkenberg in second. The Sauber's the only one with lap times on the board, but that's about to change. Lance Stroll goes over the line to 127.418. The Chrome McLaren there, they've got the special livery this weekend. I like the chrome. I don't like how they've done the nose. It just doesn't quite work for me. Not a fan of that. So maybe reverse that. I don't know. But Colapinto on a 127.0 goes fastest with Gasly on a 127.1 in second. So good opening lap there for Colapinto to get of his teammate. Very early days, yeah. Alex Albon flying, purple and purple. Yeah, Binotto's there this weekend. Good to see him. Of course, at Sauber these days. Soon to be Audi. Little twitch off the corner there, 26.3 for Albon. So 7/10 between him and Colapinto. That's a really good lap from Alex Albon there. So I think everyone's going to be okay and get laps in. But yeah, whatever, we'll get laps in, won't they? It's not... I want a big downpour. Just we've got these sort of midfield and back end of the grid cars topping the times for now. But yeah. Thinking back to Kevin Magnussen's shock pole in Brazil, that sort of thing. Something like that would be cool today. But it is close. It is close out there. So we might get some surprises. But you want to get your lap in this time. First time round, just in case. Max just coming onto the Wellington straight now. Are we all synced up with the map? I'll check it now as he's coming into turn 6, which he does. Yep, he's up on Albon. Obviously, no surprises there. Maury says, Channel 4 muted. You are my commentary. Oh, thank you very much, Maury. I have to say, I watched some Channel 4 coverage and I watched some Sky coverage, and I've not been massively impressed with either, but I was quite disappointed because Channel 4 usually go all out for it, and I kind of felt their coverage is pretty decent, but I was a bit disappointed with what I saw earlier in the weekend. So hopefully, if you are watching on Channel 4, it's well worth the watch. I bet it's just nice to have it on free-to-air TV in the UK, isn't it, for a weekend? As Verstappen comes through the middle sector, 4 tenths up on Albon. So big gain in the middle sector, actually, from Verstappen there on the Williams. Unless I'm wrong, Maury, I think the Alex Jakes and co this weekend are on Channel 4. Unless Channel 4 and F1 TV are working together, because it's I forgot what they're called now, a Whisper Films thing, isn't it? So maybe they're working together on it as a joint broadcast, because I know that Alex Jakes has been saying, throwing to adverts and things, which they don't do on F1 TV, so I might be wrong. But there's Norris, second. Verstappen fastest, 26 flat. Norris a 10th further back. So it's early in the session, but I don't get too excited for a Ferrari or Verstappen pole. I don't know what I'd do if Verstappen went to Ferrari, I'd probably explode. But there you go. It looks like they're in a mix. There goes Leclerc in only third, though. 3.5 tenths off. It's because I put the T-shirt on. I'll ruin it for them every time. Here comes Piastri over the line and goes fastest on 126 flat, 400ths, give or take. Clear of Verstappen as Hamilton goes fourth, 3 tenths off. So I know McLaren have been saying that Ferrari are well in the mix this weekend, but that's as Alonso goes third, as you do. A 10th off the fastest time. Again, early days. Here goes George Russell. 5th place, he goes ahead of the Ferraris. Would we be surprised if Ferrari don't translate their practice pace into qualifying and race pace? Would we really be shocked? It's early, I know, I keep saying it, but Red Raven says, I think Verstappen and Ferrari are like oil and water. That would never work. It's a good question to think of, actually, really, isn't it? Good point to discuss maybe at some point. But then I remember I've said it, and a few as well have said it, that Hamilton, we never really felt fit at Ferrari, did he? And he's gone there and he has. He's had his struggles with the car, but it is working, and a lot of people didn't think it would. So I guess that there is that, but I don't know. Leclerc and Verstappen at Ferrari could be a lot of fun for the future. But then I'm kind of gutted that we're not going to get Verstappen Russell next year. That could be explosive. That'd be great if they go for a championship, wouldn't it? So yeah, Hadjar up to 7th. Kevin just pointed that one out in chat there. Tsunoda was good this morning, hoping he can... I say good, he was still about 6 tenths off his teammate, but it's Max Verstappen, for God's sake, so what do you expect? But hopefully Tsunoda can get at least... It'd be good to see him top 10 today. 14th at the moment. Shouldn't have said that, sorry, Yuki. But it would be good to see him in the top 10. He's had a rough few weeks, for sure. In fact, he's had a rough time since he joined. There's Gordon Ramsay. Legend. Watched his latest Kitchen Nightmares yesterday, or this morning actually. Do you like Gordon Ramsay? Just a bit of insight there. Yeah, but Hamilton as a business persona works for Ferrari. Verstappen's far more abrasive. That doesn't work with this Ferrari squad, in my opinion. Yeah, no, I can see that. I can see that. So it sounds like they're going to go again on these tyres, Mercedes, with some more fuel. So, yeah, they're already debating what they're doing there. But yeah, no, I don't know. Even if it is a bit oil and water, and I'm not saying you're not saying this, Red Raven, but if Max Verstappen's up for grabs and Ferrari've got a seat available at any point, then maybe. But yeah, oh, round goes Colapinto, and is that in the wall, or is it just it just tags the wall? That'll be a red flag for sure. I'll wait for it to officially go red, but it will go red any second. Has it got... No, he's got going. It might not. Wait a second. Get your finger off the button, Sean. He's got going again. Actually, that's well recovered from Colapinto. But has he dragged a load of gravel onto the track at the final corner? You don't really want that, do you? So he has got going. This lap won't count because it's track limits. I don't think you'll care if it counts too much. That was quite a big lap time there. He's got going, but has he done damage? He's done damage to his car because the car's jumping at the rear, or is it because he's in slow speed and lower gears? Maybe. Let's have a look what he does. So it comes into this final twisty, awkward little bit, as I call it. That's its official name as far as I'm concerned. And it just up on the curb, loses the back end, round he goes, over the gravel, and no, he didn't hit the wall too hard, did he? So maybe not damage. Maybe it's just because he's in lower gears, clunking around, maybe. But yeah. Bang, yeah. He just tagged the wall with his rear as well, so... but he has got going. Oh, good, we got cameras in the grandstands. Great. I really need to see what they were doing there, but... he doesn't hit the wall too hard, does he? Unless I'm looking at it wrong, but... We're looking at a different angle. They have red flagged it. I thought they might. Has he stopped? He's stopped at turn... Oh, he's slow at turn 2. Has he stopped? He keeps sort of edging a little bit on the track map. I think he has stopped. On the exit of 2, he has stopped. There you go. So that's the red flag, as we suspected. Yeah, Flavio's not going to be happy, but... Is he ever? If he's not winning, which is fair enough. Not a criticism, I guess. Everyone wants to win, but yeah, Colapinto, another incident there for him. Damn, that's my chance of him getting points. Gone on predictions, isn't it? So there we go. Alpine looks good in dust, you know, says Sighted Canvas. Yeah, that's probably the livery that's grown on me the most this season, to be fair. But yeah, it looked quicker in dust than it does go around the track, didn't it? So yeah, I know they've got to clear the track, but they've also got the he stopped at turn 2 as well, so that's why I've got the red flag, or both reasons why I've got the red flag. So game over for Franco Colapinto with 6 minutes and 49 seconds on the clock. I wonder if he did do damage, or is the wiggle due to driving around on 50 pence pieces? Well, that's a good point as well, actually, isn't it? Yeah, the 50 cent pieces or 50p pieces. That could have been vibration, slow speed. Could have done some damage when he tagged the wall. It wasn't a massive hit, but these cars can break, so... Oh, John, just in response to RC saying Flavio is going to be pissed, John says, well, he put him in the car. I get the response, but kind of like, you could use that argument for every driver though, couldn't you, really? When Lewis Hamilton crashed at Monaco, Fred Vasseur's pissed, but they put him in the car. Although I don't know what you believe really around that, whether it was Fred Vasseur or somebody else, I don't know. They could be practicing for Crashgate. There you go, you never know. Yeah, there's a lot of talk, isn't there, in that about Bottas getting a seat at Alpine for the end of the year, but I think they very much want to give Colapinto the rest of the season, don't they? Or they seem to, or at least Flavio does. And he has just signed with... Is it Claro? Or Claro, one of Sergio Perez's sponsors. So that's even more money for Alpine. So it depends on what they want. The car's not good. They're rock bottom of the championship. They are not even building their own engines anymore. They should be fully focused on next season. And so, do you want to take the money? Bank it while you can. But then if he's crashing, I mean, he's not done much damage to this time. A bit of a front end play. But if your drivers are crashing every weekend, then you're losing that money, aren't you? So, difficult. But I think Bottas and Perez will be at Cadillac next year, if you're wondering. I still think that will happen. I don't know why you wouldn't if they're both available. But, yeah. Intriguing. I did read something else while we're in the red flag as well earlier in the week. I don't know how true this is. But talk of Alpine changing their name back to Renault, which is fine, but they're going to be using Mercedes engines next year. I guess Enstone things is the answer there. I don't know how true it is. It was probably more of a rumour than anything, but I did read it and I thought that just doesn't make any sense to me at all. Why would you put the Renault brand back on you if you're going to be using Mercedes power because you didn't want to build your own? So There you go. Weird. Very odd. I love the Enstone team for so many reasons and for obvious reasons as well, but sometimes they absolutely boggle my mind and I can't work it out. But yeah, we are on the red flag. If you're just tuning in, Franco Colapinto has had a crash at the final corner. Well, started at the exit the penultimate corner, start the final corner, I suppose. So in that bit there, in the wall, but then got going again and stopped at turn 2. So I bet they were quite happy, weren't they, that he... Oh, Flav has got his head in his hands at the replay there. But I guess wanted to get the car going, see what was going on, see if it would work, see if it was salvageable for the session. But I bet they were a bit annoyed, the FIA and stewards, when he dragged all that gravel back on and then stopped anyway. But you got to try, haven't you, I suppose? So, to be fair, Renault doesn't build a road car that benefits from F1 tech. Do Renault make good cars? I feel like they didn't used to. I never had a Renault. So it's a weird thing. But then, because of some quirks of Formula One, we used to have BMW, Sauber, Ferrari, didn't we? So I suppose Renault, Mercedes isn't the end of the world. It's still a billboard, isn't it? You're a 200-mile-an-hour billboard. So sticking Renault on your car, if they do, please, they have to go back to the yellow and the black. Oh, such a good livery, such a good livery. Clearly, Alpine, Renault, Merkel, whatever they want to call themselves this week, don't know what they're doing anymore. They're just winging it. It feels like it, but I'm sure there's a plan somewhere. It's probably being filed in the same filing cabinet as El Plan that didn't really work. So, yeah. Very strange. Very strange. I've been looking at new cars. Well, used cars, because I won't buy a new car, because I'd rather buy a used car that's not got many miles on it. But, yeah, I don't know what I want yet. It's I'm debating between practical and a Golf GTI, basically. So I suppose you could get a practical Golf GTI, but one of my dream cars, affordable dream cars. That's pushing it. There's some other ones that I want, but they're a bit expensive. Yeah, just a tad. Renault Clio F1, there you go. Lotus come back, that's a shout from William. I'd take Lotus back in some name. That'd be cool. That's a good shout from Red Raven. Used car with not a lot of mileage. There should be a MasterCard Lola around. Yep. Well, they did a practice session, to be fair. Yeah, the yellow and blue Renault, the Fernando Alonso days, that was a gorgeous livery. Guinea says, what do you think the podium will be? I'll do a podium prediction when we've got the qualifying result in, and we'll go from there. But I predicted on Thursday Piastri, Norris, Verstappen. So it'll be anything but that. Dane wants BMW back. Just for the livery. That 2000 Williams is one of my favourite liveries of all time, and it was pretty simple, but it's why I like the AlphaTauri livery in 2021. The year Gasly won at Monza, 2020 maybe. Crofty just bigging up Silverstone, as he does. To be fair, he's pretty much saying what I say to you every week. Silverstone as a weekend is an incredible weekend. It's expensive, and I'm sure other racetracks do the same, but there's a lot going on. You've got all your track action, but then it's like a festival behind the scenes, and there's so much. It's a lot of money, but I do feel like you spend the money and you go, Christ, that was a hell of a lot, and then you get there and you think, oh, okay, still a bit pricey, but you do get quite a bit of money, quite a bit of bang for your buck. But yeah, I'm tempted to go next year. I might ask the I mean, they might be listening and they might take this seriously, but I might ask the bosses at PF1 if they want to pay to send me. Not for content. I just want to get drunk and watch racing all weekend. But if they won't, I'll buy my own and book it off. So I don't know who's doing the streams next year for the British Grand Prix. It might be Sam sulking because he didn't get to go. Who knows? At this point, I can only afford to get a Morris Minor without the piano package to sighted canvas. We aren't green, but the red flag has cleared, so we are getting going in about a minute's time. So I'll let you know we're underway again. Yeah, it was 2020, wasn't it? Yeah, Danny Rick won 21, so Gazzy won 2020. So yeah, it would have been 2020. Thank you, John. Yeah, lots of cars I'd like. The Escort Mark II was one that I wanted as a kid, but I looked at some the other day and they are pricey, to put it mildly. So, yeah. Addy Boy says Franco Colapinto it again. Hey. Yeah, not good for Colapinto. It's a shame because I feel like, and I am, yes, I know I'm going to Wikipedia, I'm cheating, but I feel like he's actually seem to be finding a bit of form. Not quite what we saw last year from him, but I think he just seems to pick up some form. I know 15th and 13th aren't great and all that, but you know, his teammates have been 15th and 13th the last two races as well, in different orders, in different races. So I think he seems to be finding a bit of form, and I was hoping that maybe he was coming good now he got to grips with the car, but it's not really happening at the moment. So you know, they might want to make a change, but I also suspect that they'll want to stick with him as long as they can. He brings the money as well, doesn't he? So it is raining. There's a lot of rain on the camera lens now, and everyone's going out. In fact, it is. You can see the rain now, and they are all out on slicks. 14 kilometre an hour wind. What's that in English? Help me, chat. But yeah, there was a lot of rain on the camera lens at the... What's Piastri saying? Some drops in the pit lane. Seems like it might be worse than before. Yeah, that's what I was thinking. On the camera lens on pit exit, it looked a bit soggy. So this could get interesting, but not as interesting as it might have been earlier in the session. Because if we lose Bortoleto, Ocon, Colapinto, Hulkenberg and Gasly, I don't think we'd be overly shocked by that. So you never know. They want to get these laps in. But this might be, if it keeps raining like this in this session, this might be a bit of a boring 5.5 minutes or so, because no one's going to improve. But it just depends, doesn't it? 9 mile an hour. Thank you, Craig. I could have sat and done the maths myself, but I couldn't be bothered because I'm live, and when Sean does maths live, it's just embarrassing for everybody. So apparently that's a gentle breeze on the Beaufort scale. So there you go. Yeah, it is. You can see the spots of rain on the T-cam there as they're coming through. So 30% chance of rain, a 70% chance it'll stay dry, and as ever, the British weather not letting us down here. Or it will, and it'll just be that a little bit that teases us all session, and then it pees it down as soon as the session finishes. But because the thing is, it's and there is bias in what I'm about to say. If it really rains, you'd be hard pressed to bet against Verstappen for pole, and you'd fancy Hamilton up there as well, then, wouldn't you? So Dave's just said the same about Hamilton due to the rain there, the pole. So yeah, and Hamilton is on the radio with that. Definitely not the same, more slippery. And Charles Leclerc's been noted for a yellow flag infringement. So what could that have been? I mean, generally speaking, if it's yellow flag infringement, you tend to be in a lot of trouble for that. But I hope George Russell wasn't on a hot lap there behind Piastri. I don't think he was he? No. Remember how we all struggled to say the word Alpine when they first changed? Yeah, just because we can't get giggling like little school kids. Love it. So a bit of a flashback there. I hate seeing traffic in Maggots, Beckett's and all of that. That's scary, isn't it? But nicely through there, Albon. Good opening. In fact, actually, Albon's actually up overall on Oscar Piastri. He's not doing purple sectors, but he is actually pretty rapid here, Albon. So that's good to see. Not so good. The first section is where he got his time there. He's a couple of tenths up nearly on Piastri in there. So obviously, Albon and Williams good in the first sector. Something to bear in mind. Goes third fastest. Less than a tenth off the fastest time and half a tenth off Verstappen. So this is interesting. How much rain with all that paint in those fast corners could change quick? It's not really hammering it down. it just keeps drizzling a bit as Hulkenberg goes 14th. So, but yeah, Hamilton's saying it's slipperier. More slippery was the phrase I was going for. Bortoletto up to 11th. He's really finding his form, isn't he, as Bortoletto? Flashed him in the wall in a minute now, I've said that. Verstappen goes fastest by a tenth over Piastri on this slightly greasy track in sections. Reviewed, no further investigation for Leclerc for the yellow flag infringement, so all good there. So projected knockout 126.3 as Ollie Bearman goes purple in the middle sector. So that's interesting. 26.3 is the knockout time here. That puts everybody from Hadjar down in trouble. And really, Hamilton is only 4 thousandths off a 26.3. So there goes Tsunoda into 6th. Only 4 tenths off his teammate. Bloody hell, Yuki. Bearman goes 3rd. A tenth of a second the fastest time. So this is interesting, isn't it? This could be a little bit mixed up. The greasy track, maybe some drivers not giving it everything in some of the slightly greasy, I love the word greasy corners. It's a great line. What's Antonelli going to do? Not great in the first sector. Not bad in the middle. Okay in the third. He's up to 8th, but he's only just through on a 26.2 if we believe the 26.3 knockout. So this could be interesting. Yeah, Yuki. Good lap from Yuki. I'll poke fun at it because it's nice to see him somewhere within striking distance, if you want to call it that, of his teammate. That might have been a bit generous, but he's within 4 tenths. So, you know, not bad from Yuki. Leclerc, yellow in the first sector. No improvement. He did a 28.0. He's 3 tenths down on the fastest. Look at that car banging against the ground there. Smoking, in fact. I hope that isn't a mechanical problem. It is just the car riding. It looks hot as well, that car, from that angle. But hopefully this should be good for Leclerc. Hamilton has to go again. He's told negative, so he pits. 11th on a 26.296. Oh no, I've clenched. I can see where this is going. Here comes Charles Leclerc. He's all right, up to 8th place, but a 26.1 should be okay. Basically a 26.2. That might be okay, but Lewis Hamilton might be in a spot of bother here. But Hadjar not exactly flying. He goes 8th. I'll shut my mouth. Lawson not exactly flying, but I'm going to shut my mouth again in a second, I suspect. No, he isn't. He's 14th. But Carlos Sainz is purple in the first sector. So Hamilton's 13th here. Sainz is flying. Colapinto is not out there. Gasly is improving as well. So Hamilton might be okay. It depends what Bortoletto does here. That is the checkered flag. I think he's going to be okay here, Hamilton. Is Stroll still going out there? So Stroll, Hulkenberg, and Colapinto are done. We know that. Over the line goes Sainz and goes 8th fastest, drops Hamilton to 14th. Gasly is improving, but Bortoletto, Stroll and Hulkenberg are not, and Colapinto's out. So that's that. Hamilton is safe here. Squeaky bum time for Ferrari. Gasly goes 15th, actually, and knocks out Liam Lawson. So well done to Pierre Gasly. Good to see an Alpine sneak through, but that was a little bit nervy than it needed to be for Ferrari. But also, what a mess of a thrilling grid that would be for tomorrow. Verstappen currently fastest, or ends Q1 fastest, from Piastri, Bearman, Albon and Alonso. If there are any F1 gods out there, if you want to give us that grid for tomorrow, that's fine. I'd be quite happy with that. That's a very interesting top 5, isn't it? So Liam is out. We've lost Lawson, Bortoletto, Stroll, Hulkenberg and Colapinto. What happened to Lawson here? They're giving us a replay, so I'm guessing something. Otherwise, we wouldn't be watching, would we? Into Stowe. Oh, a lot of corrections on the exit. Had no grip, no idea what happened, he said. So, oh, yeah. Yeah, it cost him a bit of time. In fact, was he over the white line anyway? So, yeah. Did that cost him a 10th? Maybe, maybe not. But, yeah. That'd be a hell of a top 5 for tomorrow, wouldn't it? So, but that was close. Yuki Tsunoda, we were impressed with his lap, but actually he only just scraped through in 13th himself. So, well, I say scraped is harsh, to be fair. Scraped is harsh, but yeah, not much in that at all, is there, in the end? So that could have been That could have been an interesting one. But yeah, no, top 5 tomorrow. We'll leave that like that. If they want to end quali now, it's fine. I enjoy quali, but we can leave it for a bit if you want, and we'll just go with that grid tomorrow. That could be a lot of fun. Hulkenberg in 19th, just 7/10 slower than first, says Fud. Yeah. I mean, look, Colapinto didn't get another run in, did he? And he was only 1.1 off the fastest time in the end. So actually, I know we had a greasier track at the end, but that's still still not bad at all, is it, really? But I was just going to say, yeah, Borsalester did drop out, didn't he? So that's a shame. He was looking good at one point. But Bearman, I guess, the standout there, up there in 3rd place with Albon in 4th. So I think more impressive there from Bearman and Albon is both, in Bearman's case, comfortably, in Albon's case, just over, but about 2/10 off, within 2/10 of the fastest time. That's surprising. So it might be, we said it'd be close. It might be even closer than we thought. So what really is the issue for Yuki with the Red Bull, says Tommy Guy? It's just a bad second car that is not, they've put all their eggs in the Verstappen basket. Totally understandable. But then you end up with a one-car team. And that's the problem that Yuki's having. It's the problem that Lawson had. It's the problem that Perez had, but to a lesser extent, because as I said last week, and I've said every week, and I was saying last season as well, and the season before, of all the drivers post Ricciardo, he's been the best one. But he still had his problems there, didn't he, as we saw last season, which is why he's not in the car this year. But it is interesting that Helmut Marko has said that they're going to start trying to help Yuki by not setting the car up more towards Verstappen, which I guess is just going to feed into more rumours about his future. But interesting they're going to get on that road. Maybe they are realising that they need to have a second car, but too little too late this season. And I feel like just focus on next year. If I've said it before, if I'm Ferrari, if I am Red Bull, I'm focusing on next year. Although I do find it interesting, and I know that the McLaren was coming good last year and the Red Bull's fallen off, but I do find it interesting that we've all written Max Verstappen pretty much out of the championship on 46 points of a gap to the leader. But when Lando Norris was 53 points behind after Miami last year, everyone was talking about him mounting a title challenge. So just bear that in mind. The Red Bull could come good. Verstappen could absolutely nail it. He ain't out of this. Max Verstappen, much like a Michael Schumacher, a Senna, you could throw Hamilton in there as well, are those drivers that, until it's mathematically impossible, don't ever totally rule them out. There's always a slim chance they'll pull something out of the bag, particularly Verstappen at the moment. So, yeah. Red Raven says last year we were bored. Oh, so we're making stuff up. Is that what you mean? Like, oh yeah, Lando can honestly do it. I mean, McLaren turned it around and won the constructors, didn't they? So, anything could happen, but no one's winning the constructors this year apart from McLaren. That is done. I did hear Simon Lazenby say just before I went live, can anybody catch them? No, it's done. Is it 200 and something points to gap now? Come on, no. So interesting. But yeah, I think the difference is, I would say, just back to my point about this year versus last year. Last year, the McLaren was coming good, so it felt like there could have been a charge there from a Piastri or a Norris, and the Red Bull was dropping off. And this year, the McLaren is continuing to stay good, and the Red Bull is sort of a bit inconsistent, I suppose. The comment itself, in isolation with no other information, sounds like BS. How come a bigger gap is a championship fight, but a smaller one isn't? But when you look at the whole sport and the way it's gone over the last 12 months, really, just over, there's a lot more to it than that, a lot more nuanced. I love that word as well. Even if I use it incorrectly, I don't care. I just love the word greasy. But yeah, there's a lot more to it than just that's the points gap. The McLaren was coming good, the Red Bull was dropping off. There's more people involved in this fight at the front this year than there were last year and the year before. So lots of things to consider. It's never, as with everything in F1, you all know this, it's never just one thing, is it? So it was just something I found interesting, but then I know why. I'm not new to this. As my aged horribly face will tell you, I'm sure. But Max was just far behind Leclerc in 2022 and won by 150 points. We did this the other week. Sam did it. It was it 40 odd points? It was, wasn't it? So yeah, I can't remember what the specific number was, because we definitely did a video short last week. As we look at the crowd there, they're having a wonderful time in their jackets because it's cold and wet, I'd imagine. It's surprising, actually, if you've ever been, it's probably the same at other racetracks as well, but it's surprising how cold it can get in those grandstands with them being sheltered, actually. Yeah. Is the safety car orange or brown, says Sighty Canvas? It's burnt orange, I would say. I wouldn't say it's orange. I wouldn't, so yeah. We have also got a lot of races left, actually. You've got to remember we are at the end of this weekend, halfway. We've got a long way to go yet, so we are going for Q2. We'll have a little bit of a lull here while we wait for people to decide what they're doing. It says no rain again, so hopefully you're good there. 48 says Moray. It could have been 40. It's something like that, wasn't it? So, yeah. I mean, look, who knows? Who knows? I wouldn't rule Max Verstappen totally out. But it's all going to come down to when Red Bull cut this car off. Helmut Marko has said there will be a point after Silverstone or at the latest Spa where the team make a decision on focusing on next year's car. So Max is pretty much ruling himself out. Red Bull doing the same. So maybe that is the plan now. Focus on next year. They're going to be fourth in the constructors, I'd imagine. Probably. Unless Yuki comes good. Lots of wind tunnel time, I suppose. So yeah, I know Verstappen's ruled himself out, but he ruled himself out after the third race of 22, and he won it. So he's ruling himself out based on the here and now. Give it 10 races, he might be back in it again. You don't know, but you never know with him. So he can rule himself out. We can rule him out, but he's one of those drivers where you just never know. And you all know that. You're not daft. I don't need to tell you that. We're not talking about a lackluster driver here, are we? We're talking about Max Verstappen, who at the moment is top of the timesheets in this session, or he was in Q1, because he can just. It's been nowhere. There was nobody's been hyped about Red Bull all weekend, and then he just rocked up in FP3 and just did that, and then he did that in Q1. So yeah, can't ever totally rule him out, but. I often feel with teams and drivers, I am padding here because we're waiting for this first laps to come in, but I often feel with teams and drivers, they tend to rule themselves out of things or play themselves down based on obviously on the current circumstances, and they don't look further ahead than that, which I get, but yeah. Anyway, I'll say it again, just to be clear, I wouldn't rule him out until it's more or less. If he ends up 100 points behind by the summer break, then it's done. But, until it's mathematically done, you never know. We shall see. We shall see. Are Red Bull still restricted with wind tunnel time, or was that only for the year? I don't think they're still restricted with wind tunnel time. No, that was 23, 22 to 23. They did all right in 23, didn't they? So, that feels like forever ago, and it wasn't that long ago. But I can't bloody remember when it was now. October 20 something to October 20 something. I think. There you go. That was really helpful, I know. Really, really helpful. Verstappen purple in the first sector. First one to do a lap, though, so not hugely shocking, but I think that's quicker than he did in Q1, FP1. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know why it said FP1. It's not FP1, it's Q1. We're in Q2 now as well, so that's irrelevant anyway. But coming through the super fast complex there, and on to the hangar straight. That DRS always starts earlier than I think it does. 34.2. His best sector 3, by the way, last time around, which was... must be Q1. Was a 23.5. So this could be interesting. What does he do? Through the final corner. Over the line. Will obviously go fastest. Sainz has gone purple in the first sector. 23.3 from Verstappen. So, yeah, he has improved on his time from the first session. There goes Hamilton. 0.8 slower on a used set of tyres, to be fair. But, yeah. Still a gap. Leclerc is on used tyres as well. Piastri purple in the middle sector. So, coming back at Verstappen there. He's another 0.2 off. in fact, used tyres for Hamilton, Leclerc, Tsunoda, Bearman, Albon, Antonelli, and Gasly, according to the timing tower. So bear that in mind. Bear that in mind. It's not over yet for Ferraris. Piastri matches Verstappen's time on a 1:25.316. But if you're new to F1, whoever sets it first gets the position. So Verstappen did his first, and he is currently first. But yeah, nothing between them. Over the line goes Sainz. Alonso's going to third place. 25.7 and 25.8 for those two. Albon goes fifth. 1:25.889. Here comes Hadjar. He's obviously, it's greens across the board at the minute because they are just setting their first times. Sainz, Piastri, Verstappen are your fastest sectors, by the way. So it's split across the board there with those three. So it is so close out there, isn't it? As we've left the track action to cut to Keanu Reeves because, of course, we're all here to watch Keanu Reeves walk into the paddock for some reason. Shut up, Sean. Stop being grumpy. Get on with it. Here comes Norris. Purple in the middle sector. Obviously, personal best in the first. It is his first flying lap. Let's see if he can beat that 1:25.316. Go on. Do the same time, Lando. Go on. I've never liked him. 1:25.231. But only 900ths between them. So this is tense again. I think Antonelli was the slow one that Russell was complaining about on the outlap, by the way. Because they are pretty much together on the outlet, on the track, aren't they? Or at least one after the other. Not literally together. Is Keanu Reeves Canadian? Is that a fact, Kevin? Because if that's a fact, I learned something today. Every day is a school day. I had no idea. That surprised me. So there you go. It was worth seeing Keanu Reeves. I learned something. Unless Kevin's lying. Which is possible. It is possible. He is, says Craig. Wow. What's Antonelli doing? Says Alonso. He feels that should be a penalty, Alonso. I'm not really sure what's happening there. Keanu went to school about 30 minutes from my house, says Kevin. That's cool. I had no idea. There you go. Is he one of the good Canadians? In fact, I was surprised to notice he's a good Canadian kid. There you go. He's one of the good Canadian celebrities. Interesting. So I'm not quite sure what was happening. I assume Antonelli was backing up to start a lap, and that's upset Fernando. So yeah, we'll see what they decide there, stewards. But yeah, they said crazy on the radio, and Alonso said penalty. So, but we have Norris fastest on a 25.2, followed by Verstappen on a 25.3. In fact, Piastri on a 25.3, the exact same time in third place. Russell is fourth, Alonso fifth, Sainz is sixth, Albon seventh, Hadjar eighth, Bearman ninth, Ocon 10th. Ignore me. 11th for Hamilton, 12th for Antonelli, 13th for Leclerc, 14th Gasly, 15th Tsunoda, 1.2 seconds separating the entire field at the moment, the top 15. We've already lost Lawson, Bortoletto, Stroll, Hulkenberg, and Colapinto, who crashed at the final corner, got going again, then pulled over with damage. So there we go. Well, Keanu Reeves did the Brawn documentary, didn't he? As well. So nothing wrong. I have no issues with Keanu Reeves, by the way. I just I don't need to see him when quali's on. And it's not so much that, you know, like when they cut to like Rowan Atkinson, for example. That's different. It's when we're watching qualifying and we've got to go to the paddock to watch him entering, coming towards the halfway through Q2. Like, there's no need for it. But then I'm one of these that boo when we cut to the crowd. So I'm just a grumpy old git. All right, leave me alone. Can't help it. If both Ferraris get knocked out after a strong show yesterday, the only thing you can do anymore is laugh and drink strong alcohol. Yeah, I'll message my partner. If they get knocked out in Q2, I'll message my partner and we'll get the lid taken off the red wine for later. If you weren't here last week, Sean has become a red wine drinker. Not like excessively, although went to my sister's a few weeks ago, drank way too much of it, got absolutely hammered, and neither of us remember even eating that night, and we still don't remember most of the night, so it must have been good. I can I just say so, I should have got the comments up, but a shout out to whoever said it, and now I can't unsee it, but the I'm sorry, the Racing Bulls livery does look like somebody's drawn a load of testicles on the car, is what the comment basically said, in different words, of course. But yeah, now they really are racing balls this weekend for me. So no offense to the artist, but now someone's put that in my head. I can't unsee it, and it's ruined that livery for me because I thought it was fine before. There was nothing wrong with it, and now I hate it. So there you go. Sean drinks red wine and yells at the newscast on TV. Couldn't tell you the last time I watched the news, to be honest. I've got enough in my life to worry about without being depressed about everything else going on in the world, so I tend to avoid the news where I can unless it's important. Some would argue all news is important, but yeah. If I see a big white flash outside, I know that it was important. I should have been watching, but otherwise I'll carry on my life. No point. I've come into this year very much with no point worrying or stressing over the things I can't do anything about. So just worry about the things that are under your control. Let's not get too deep, though. We've got 4.5 minutes left of Q2, and it's very exciting here. Yeah, sorry. I have completely ruined the livery now for everybody. I'm so sorry. I think you'd have got away with it without the eyelashes, if they are eyelashes, but they don't look like eyelashes. Oh, I'm sorry. I'm sorry, Red Raven. Please forgive me. Dislike. Yeah, we'll just wait for the cars to get around again. Please do drop a like, by the way, while we're waiting for the cars to get going. We're at 59 likes and 500 of you here, so we can get that to 100. Let's try to get to 100. I love triple digits on these streams, so please do drop a like. Massively appreciate it. And subscribe as well if you're new. And I might, if you show up in Streamlabs and I manage to remember to do it, I might give you a shout out as well for subbing. So please do sub if you're new and drop a like. Really appreciate that. Lots to come. We're live again tomorrow for the Grand Prix. Thomas is with you on Monday. Thank you for the support on last Monday's video, by the way, from Thomas. It was great to see. He's back with you tomorrow on Monday with a wrap up for the weekend. Sam will have a short out on Tuesday, and I think he's doing a Euros F1 related short on Wednesday, which I'm looking forward to seeing. I'm working on something for Thursday. I'll have something Saturday for you as well. Lots of shorts out. A little break between Silverstone and Spa because F1 does F1 things. It's not the official summer break. It's just weird. We've got this weird 3-week thing for some reason. So some more evergreen content over the next couple of weeks so we can have some fun there. So support massively appreciated. Thank you very much as always. Good to see you all this afternoon or this morning or evening or night time, wherever you are in the world. But yeah, it is nearly 10 to 4 here in the UK. And I don't know what I'm having for tea tonight. I did have curry last week, by the way. You all convinced me. Egon says, I don't see balls, but what we're supposed to see. I think they're supposed to be eyes. And eyelashes. I might be wrong. I have no idea, but it's by an artist called Sloan, who, of course, as you will all know, I know very, very well, and I follow his work. I didn't have to read up on him after I read the press release at all. Yeah, so I think it's supposed to be eyes. It is very random. Art, says Red Raven, yeah. Turned the garage into an art gallery as well ahead of the weekend for reasons. Here goes Lewis Hamilton then with his lap. He needs this. Everyone, by the way, who is at risk really is on new tyres. Obviously the top 3 are not. They don't need to be for this session. They should be through. But everyone else is on the new tyres. So very exciting. It's still weird seeing Adrian Newey in green as well. RC says we need some Grumpy Sean content. I'm here. We're doing it. Grumpy Sean content. That's what the live streams are for. It's, I could be more me and more moany and grumpy and ranty and whatever on a live stream than I can in a video because there's no editing. So, and now I've got a face on here. I can't even get away with dodgy facial expressions anymore. It's terrible. There's no privacy in this world. It's shocking. Here goes Lewis Hamilton. Purple in the first sector, so he is putting this one together. He needs the lap. Leclerc as well, 13th, by the way. Don't forget that. So, big laps here for the Ferraris. Leclerc, I think, just ahead of Hamilton on track. Yes, I could look at the track map. Yes, he is. There he is. New channel, Grumpy Sean. Yeah, go on then. Why not? Just sit and play games that you all really find boring and don't enjoy while I just moan about the world. Bloody kids. 25.6 is the projected knockout time. That actually puts Russell down in danger. Bearman up in 4th place, by the way, on a 25.5. Great lap from him, but don't forget, 10th place grid drop, whatever he does. So, yeah, Leclerc goes fastest on a 125.133. What is Lewis Hamilton going to do? He goes fastest. Listen to the crowd. You won't hear them if you're not watching. 125.084. It's the same for every driver at home Grand Prix. Whatever they do, they get cheered. So it's like, this is the crowd. So there you go. Yeah, Ferrari are through and back on pace. Do we think, chat, maybe the greasier conditions didn't work for the Ferrari quite as well? Because now that it's dried up completely from that tiny amount of water that was on the track, relatively speaking, they found their form again. So maybe that wasn't working for them, or they were out of sync and they got it wrong. That's the checkered flag for Q2. Yeah, they stole my red wine, put it in the tank. I like that one, yeah. Antonelli needs this one. He's down in 14th at the moment. No mistakes really allowed here. Tsunoda's on the bubble and not... Where is he? Not... he's up at turn 5. What am I trying to look at? Yeah, is he... He's already been through, surely. His sector or green. Gasly goes 9th. Where's that come from, Pierre? Really good lap. To put himself into the top 10. He's going to struggle to stay there with Albon and co out there on track. Although Albon's out, Hadjar's out, and Ocon's out. And there you go. Anthony sneaks through into 8th place ahead of George Russell, actually. So we have lost, definitely lost, Hadjar, Albon and Ocon. We've lost Sainz as well. He is pitted. So it's only Tsunoda. And I think Tsunoda is on a slow lap. He is indeed. So yeah, we've lost Yuki Tsunoda, 12th place. That's it. We're done. It's over. For Q2 at least. We have lost Carlos Sainz, Yuki Tsunoda, one day. Hadjar 13th, Albon 14th, and Ocon in 15th are all out. Less than 9/10 separating the top 15. No, totally different car. My bad, guys. We made it difficult for ourselves. That's actually Albon, not Tsunoda, but we're watching the Albon radio while on board with Tsunoda. So Albon's angry, not happy at all. 14th, and there you go, yeah. Miserable. But Ferrari won too. Ferrari 1-2, Norris 3rd, Verstappen 4th, Piastri 5th, Bearman in 6th, Alonso 7th. Then it's the Mercedes pair of Antonelli and Russell, and Pierre Gasly sneaking through his top 10 there. Well done to him by 300ths of a second. Yeah, Bearman's on it. What a shame that Bearman's getting that grid drop. What a silly mistake to make this morning. But there you go. It's the way it is. He's got pace as Bearman, but keeps making these mistakes. Get a screenshot. Hang it in the Louvre. It's rare. It does feel good. See Ferrari top of the timesheets. It's also quite weird that it's still weird to me seeing Hamilton in red. Maybe it's just me. He's always been in silver or black overalls, hasn't he? McLaren days and then his Mercedes days. So it's just weird seeing him in red still to me. But yeah. Hamilton's one. Yeah, I mean, Hamilton at his home Grand Prix is one you can't ever rule out either, can you? I mean, I said that in the preview. He goes so well here, 9 wins. That incredible win last year that surprised us all. So, you know, don't rule him out. I still... Let's do predictions then. Who are you going for pole? I'll read them out. I'll try and read your names as well without butchering them as best I can. But, yeah. Let's do some predictions. But I still think McLaren will just do what it just feels like. It feels a little bit Mercedes days, not quite to that point. You know, I've said it before. Roses are red, violets are blue. Pole could be anyone's. McLaren 1-2. You know, it's that sort of thing. So I wouldn't be surprised to see an old pie front row. But Verstappen or the Ferraris up there for me, that'd be amazing. But I'll go. Can't change my official prediction. But I will go with... What are you saying? What are you saying, chat? I'll go the opposite, just to be awkward. I'll go Leclerc then. A few of you saying Hamilton. I'll go Leclerc. I'll flip it the other way, just to keep it interesting. There you go. Zigga says at least better than being last in Q1. So, yeah, that's something. That's true. Very true. I can see that with Yuki Tsunoda. It's improvement, but I was hoping top 10. He had some good pace today, or looked like he had, and it just didn't really click. That said, he was only 800ths off P10, so, I mean, not a lot in it, is there? So, what's that? A little twitch, slightly wider, missing an apex, that sort of... There's nothing in it, is there? So, it's close. Hamilton Pole says, Mike, jump cut films as can't ever count Lewis out on home soil. Fudd says, Hamilton, Norris, Leclerc. He did win on 3 wheels, he did, didn't he? Bearman has the chance to do the funniest thing, says Moray. Oh, don't. That'd be terrible. I know exactly what you're getting at. Lando for pole from Lewis, and Oscar says his story. Sumyet. Oh, I'm going to call you Sum. You know who you are. I appreciate it. I'm sorry. I'm so bad at names. It's so bad. Ocon had a spin, by the way, by the look of it. Says P1 for LH44. Craig says Piastri, Norris and Hamilton. Red Raven. If Ferrari has good red wine left, then Hamilton, Leclerc, Norris. But I think Norris, Piastri, Hamilton. Louis says Hamilton pole. Most Mr. Jones says Norris. Norris for pole for Meyer. Or Meyer, I think it was, wasn't it? Surprises no, says Oscar, Lando, and Hamilton. Only 0.5 down on Verstappen. Only. Yeah, only. Gazzy for pole says farting golf balls. You never know. You never know. Alpine is doing good. LH44 pole. Verstappen pole says arch it. So there you go. Yeah, a good mix there, actually. So I think that just goes to show how close it is. Nobody's quite sure who this could be. So I'd like to see Gasly up there, but I'd be surprised if he gets pole. It would be hilariously annoying if Bearman got pole, then took the grid drop, and then doesn't actually get pole. Because pole position, unless the rules have changed in recent years because of sprints, pole position, we call it pole when you set the fastest time in quali, but it's not pole position until you line up on the grid on Sunday. That's when it's officially pole. So that's why Schumacher isn't credited with the pole position for Monaco a few years ago, his last one effectively in F1, because he didn't start there. So yeah, it would be typical, wouldn't it? Yeah, we're looking at Karun Chandok again. I was going to take 1 sec. Oh, well, I say 1 sec. That'd be ambitious, wouldn't it? 15 seconds. Have a quick drink, so I'll switch the camera off so I don't dribble it down myself because I'm an idiot like that. And then I'll be back with you for the start of Q3. So just give me 15 seconds and I'm not disappearing for good. I promise. Right then. Let's go for Q3. Yeah, I've chugged a whole bottle of red wine. There you go. This is going to be fun. No, it's not. It's orange squash. Rock on. Sean, July 6th is Lewis's lucky day, says Clansome. I've watched the advert, by the way, Clansome. I don't get it. It's weird, but it's also quite funny. So yeah, I have finally watched it. I promised I would last week, so just so you know. But unfortunately now my entire YouTube thing is just full up of Lululemon stuff. So it's now I'm having to click on don't recommend this channel or not interested in this now. So that's a shame. Yeah, it's more than I end up sneezing. RC. That's more than 15 seconds. Pollen seems high again today. So 5-second time penalty for exceeding maximum pit stop time. 23 seconds, says Red Raven. Yeah. Yeah, I'm doing. Yeah, that's exactly it. When I turn the camera off, I'm doing shots. That's all it is. We are go for Q3, ready to go for pole position here. Bearman is currently top of the time sheet. He's first one out on track. Won't be there for long, but you never know. He's been quick. He could. Used tyres, by the way, I'll tell you as they start to come out once we've got everyone on track. It's still showing their last one. Pretty marginal Mercedes. Piastri says unsafe release there potentially. Rainbow True Colours is supporting Hamilton today. Fingers crossed for pole then. Looks good. Is the orange squash diluted by water or wine though? Whiskey. Parents are going on a holiday on Monday, so we've got their dog, Baxter's brother. Just a random side thing, but they're going to bring me back a bottle of something from abroad. So there you go. Looking forward to that, whatever it is. Probably Jack Daniels it usually is. But yeah, from Malta. From Malta, I mean the airport. But yeah, anyway. On this date, Lando Norris achieved his maiden podium at the Austrian Grand Prix. If you don't know, is that the one where he was closing Hamilton down with that 5-second penalty and did it on pretty much the last lap over the line? Would have been, wouldn't it? Yeah, so that's quite a moment. Oh yeah, orange squash is a cordial, Kevin. Others call it cordial. We've always called it squash. I don't know if that's an outdated term now that nobody uses anymore, but I've always called it squash, so it is a cordial, yeah. So, yeah. I mean, true by the July the 6th stuff, though. I think they're just talking about it on Sky. So, both races won by Lewis Hamilton on July 6th. There you go, at Silverstone. That's the look. Used tyres, by the way. Antonelli, Russell, and Gasly. Everyone else on new tyres. So, intriguing. I've just been slapping my feet for some reason. Keanu Reeves is on the pit wall. Is that with Karun Chandok? That would explain all that then, yeah. Verstappen's going to be first to do a lap time here. Hopefully. A good one. See what happens. But he's coming through onto the Wellington straight now. DRS wide open. Looks good down there. Purple in the first sector. Obviously, first one of the front runners to do a quick first sector. Bearman, 27.7. He's not far off Verstappen in that first sector, though, to be fair. So he's in the mix here, Bearman, for a really great qualifying performance. Again, what a shame. He loses 10 places. Piastri does a 27.6. Just quicker than Verstappen, about a 10th. So let's see. I've lied to you. It's not a 10th at all. It's just, is it? Oh, I've lost where I am. 27. Yeah, it is. Yeah. Whatever. He's quicker. Verstappen in the middle sector, purple. So he's going to be second one to get a lap on the board, first of the front runners. Bearman does a 1:25.899 and goes fastest for now. Verstappen, unless he makes a mistake, should beat that, as Piastri again purple in the middle sector. There goes Verstappen on a 1:25.267. 0.6 back to Bearman. So quite Piastri's flying. A 10th up on Verstappen. So he is pretty rapid here as Piastri. Over the line he goes, a 1:24.9. He's 0.3 quicker nearly. Piastri finding some pace there. I don't know who that was in the garage. Somebody could tell me if you know. Let me know. Over the line goes Norris, goes second fastest on a 25.167. Antonelli 20. 0.3 off. He's on used tyres though. So Russell, he's on used tyres. Over the line he goes fourth on those tyres, actually, to be fair. Not bad at all. Verstappen said on the radio, this car is just so difficult. Yeah, not good. Hamilton goes second. Ooh, that'd be interesting, wouldn't it? Piastri and Hamilton on the front row with Norris down to third. A 10th off. So Ferrari are in this. Oh, don't get my hopes up for for a Ferrari on pole. I don't care which one. Any will do. As Alonso goes seventh. Gasly was on used tyres as well. Will he finish his lap? He's going to keep going, Gasly, for now. Check the floor, says Piastri. So did Piastri clunk a curb? I don't want to try to look, but yeah. Marty Brother saying Norris went deep into turn 3, so would have lost some time there. Oscar's girlfriend, apparently. Thank you, Murray. I wasn't sure who it was, but I was like, yeah, cool. Yeah, used tyres. I prefer the Aussie way, fizzy. It's squash, not fizzy, it's cordial. But we are slowly being Yankified and the definitions are meaningless now, says Louis. Fizzy. Fizzy. Yeah. Pop. I call fizzy stuff pop. Panda Pops. School disco. 90s school disco. Panda Pops. Bearman slower than Q2. Yeah. So still pace there then, isn't there? So that's interesting. I think Bearman could have a good result here. It's just a shame that he's then got to drop so far down the grid. But yeah. So now I've got a lull. 6 minutes to go in Q3. We are 12 likes away from 100, by the way. I thought I'd just check. So if we get 12 more likes, I'll be very happy, Sean. And I promise I'll stop being grumpy for the rest of, well, the next 10 minutes. Maybe. I'll try. Oh, let's see what Oscar Piastri. I'm guessing wide at Stowe is why he's asking about the floor. Oh, yes. Over the serrated bits on the exit there. That will have scraped on the ground. We're going to see off board now. This is going to be messy. he's very wide out there. And yeah, you do want to check the floor after that, don't you? Didn't see anything fly off, so that's a positive, but that wasn't too much of that, do you? So yeah, sorry, I'm making promises I can't keep on not being grumpy. So Karun Chandler is sat next to Keanu Reeves for reasons. For fun. It's all part of the fun. We're all very happy with it, I'm sure. How far are we? What we like to sync? Yeah, sync's okay on the stream at the minute, so that's okay. Frothy man. I've never heard of that, Clanson. Do I have to go search that one as well? Ruin my YouTube history again. I was going to look at something then. I got intrigued by what Karun Chandler was doing, but sorry. Let's have a look at what we've got. So, current running order with 4 minutes to go. Oscar Piastri fastest on a 1:24.995, followed by Hamilton, who's just over a tenth and just below a tenth and a half off Piastri, so close. Thank you to Trendy for subscribing, by the way. Just saw you out the corner of my eye there. Norris is third, 400ths off Hamilton, and a tenth, nearly 2 tenths off his teammate. Apparently time loss on that lap, though, but you could argue Oscar did running wide of the curve if he lifted at all. Verstappen, a 1:25.267. 10th off Norris, 3 tenths, best part of off Piastri. By the way, fastest in the speed trap at the moment, Verstappen, 328 kilometers an hour, compared to McLaren's 319 and 321. So, just, might be something to keep an eye on tomorrow. Where is the speed trap around here? I haven't got the map up, don't know. Leclerc is 5th, Russell 6th, Alonso 7th, Bearman 8th, Antonelli 9th, and Gasly 10th. 8.5 tenths separating the top 10. Thank you, Dia or Dyer, for subscribing. Again, saw you at the corner of my eye. Look at my timing here, so appreciate the support. Welcome aboard. It's a weird place, but we're all good people here, apart from Kevin. Just watch Kevin, he bites. If you don't talk about the constructors enough. Yeah, it is tight in there. Again, you've got, it's a bigger gap than we've seen so far today. But, you've got Leclerc 3 tenths off the fastest time, but only a quarter of a tenth off Verstappen. So, it is close out there. Just trying to work out whether the battle's going to be behind the front runners, really. Alonso, Bearman for 7th. Maybe Gasly can get in the mix there. Antonelli 2. Maybe. It'd be good to see Gasly get a really good result today. And I would love to see Ollie Bearman on home soil do something really special today, but I'll also be really frustrated with him if he does. Oliver Breakfast Bearman. That'll mean nothing to most people. I don't know why I said it, but there you go. Will they have time to pop in 2 laps? Says surprises. No, that's a good question. No, 2 minutes left. Might do, but I don't think so. We'll see. We're about to find out, aren't we? So, yeah, here we go. We'll focus on the action. So I won't ignore your chat. I will come back to you, I promise. So get your questions ready for later. We are going to do a bit of a 20-minute Q&A after this. So, by 20 minutes, I mean like 3 hours. I'm like when I get going. But so get your questions ready for that. But we'll do some predictions for tomorrow as well once this is all over. But here goes Lando Norris to start his final flying lap of the day. A minute and a half-ish. We're going to be there in a second. So a minute and a half now left in the session. So there you go. Norris needs this lap. Piastri needs this lap as well. What is Verstappen going to do? Can he surprise or here? He's on an out lap and he's going to let Antonelli through at Cops, actually. That's interesting. 24.8 is the projected pole position time. So there is time. Norris is slightly down, half a tenth in that first sector, but it is an improvement. So if he lost his time in that first sector in turn 3, as Martin Brundle was saying, then there we go. But Piastri's gone purple anyway, so Piastri is improving as well, but his was the fastest. So there we go. It was, second fastest to Hamilton. It's now purple. All about Norris needs a big middle sector here. He needs a big middle sector if he wants pole. My leg's twitching. I'm doing a Christian Horner twitch on the leg now. Anthony goes 6th. Norris has gone purple in the middle sector and half a tenth now up on Oscar Piastri, but there is one other man flying at the moment, and that's Lewis Hamilton. He's a tenth quicker in the first sector over Norris, and Piastri slower in the middle sector. This is going to be, I think, McLaren here, and I don't want to speak too soon as Norris goes over the line, only goes second, but I think McLaren are leaving the door open here for one Lewis Hamilton. Let's see what happens in the middle sector. Oh, big slide for Piastri, but he stays fastest, obviously. He has that in his bag. And actually, at the moment, Max Verstappen is the one on the move. Is Max Verstappen going to cause some... I think we might be in for a potential surprise here. Unless you've been backing Ferrari or Verstappen all weekend, as Hamilton kicks a bit of dust there on the exit, on the entry to the corner there. So he's pushing hard as Hamilton through the final corner. He goes only fourth. He lost so much time in that final sector. Was that kick up of dust what cost him there? Looked frustrating. Max Verstappen, though. We've already got excited about Hamilton maybe doing it. Could Leclerc do it? Could Verstappen? Leclerc hasn't done it. He's going to be fifth at the moment. Max Verstappen, wow, is 2.5 tenths up in the middle sector alone. If he keeps it clean through here, this is where the Red Bull, I think, has been weaker this weekend, the slower final part of the track. But we knew this was going to be close. I don't think many were predicting this. Over the line, Max Verstappen, pole position for the British Grand Prix. Oh, that's going to annoy some people. 1:24.892. With it's that. Wow. First sector. Couple of tenths nearly quicker than Piastri's first sector. A couple of tenths up in the middle sector as well. Slower in the final sector. So it was all in those first two sectors for Max Verstappen. I don't think anybody in chat called Verstappen for pole there. Max Verstappen is on pole. Sean's in a good mood. Pissed off that Ferrari are 5th and 6th because they can't do anything right. But there you go. Happy Max Verstappen's on pole. What a lap that is. So 27.4 versus 27.6 in the first sector. 33.9 versus 34.1 in the middle sector. 23.3 versus 23.2 in the final sector. Again, 328 kilometers an hour in the speed trap versus McLaren at 3.19 and 3.21. So, whew. Well, wasn't expecting that. So what happened? Piastri made a mistake, didn't he? He did, yeah. He was wide, penultimate corner, exit the penultimate corner, and got it wrong, and then cost himself some time. But a 10th, is that as much as a 10th, chat? I don't. Oh, Norris really scruffy through there as well. Took a hell of a lot of a cut off that corner. Still, he's legal. Nothing wrong with that. What happened to Hamilton? This is what Hamilton did. This is what he spotted live. He just touches the grass a little bit with his rear, I think, or at least his front. On entry, so that cost him some time maybe, and he's twitchy on the exit as well. Yeah, just didn't work, and he looked frustrated. Is he punching the steering wheel, or is he just lifting his visor up? Wasn't sure, but yeah. Max Verstappen on pot. Who saw that coming? There'll be somebody. I did. I predicted it all along. Sean gets no points for qualifying the predictions again, so that's a negative, but my team didn't do very well. My driver took pole, and my other driver that I want to see do well this year was second. So I can't be too disappointed, but I am wearing a Ferrari shirt. Did the shirt ruin it? Did I jinx Ferrari with it? It's all my fault. All my fault. What happened to Leclerc then? 6th. 2 tenths off. That's 3 tenths covering the top 6. A 10th between Verstappen and Piastri. 100th between Piastri and Norris, 200ths between Norris and Russell, 600ths, 700ths maybe if you want to round up between Russell and Hamilton, 300ths rounded up between Hamilton and Leclerc. The sod all between those little mistakes, that mistake from Piastri, that mistake from Hamilton, that mistake from Norris, they've all cost them positions. That's how tight it is out there. So, and if it can stay that tight for the race, we're in for a cracker. And if it rains, then unless he bins it, I wouldn't be surprised to see Max disappear with it. But let's hope for rain. No, let's hope it's a cracker. If it's that close in the race, we're going to have a great race tomorrow. So, yeah. Well, yeah, good point, actually. Red Raven says I did say never rule Verstappen out. So, can I take that as a point for my predictions? No. If I did that, the comments in the previews would be livid because it'd be cheating. They'd be so mad. Yeah, Sky News report. Man who curses Ferrari is in hiding. Thank God I don't live in Italy, right? Might be lynched. Thank you very much for coming on. I butchered your name earlier, so I'm so sorry, but I'll call you... Was it Sumia? I'll go with that. It says have a good day. Thank you so much. Thank you for popping along. Good to have you here. If you are disappearing, by the way, please do drop a like before you go, and subscribe as well if you are new. We are live, or I'm live tomorrow, 2:30 p.m. BST for the race watch along. Thomas will be with you on Monday with a wrap up from the weekend. And we've got some shorts from Sam. I'll have some long form videos out later in the week as well, and then we're gonna have some evergreen stuff over the mini summer break, let's call it, over the next 2 or 3 weeks, and then of course we'll be gearing up for the final doubleheader before the actual summer break of Spa and Hungary. So appreciate your support and thank you for popping along. Hopefully see you again tomorrow. Will be great for the company, but if you are sticking around, we'll do predictions very, very shortly. I've crossed my leg again, but I can't get comfortable today for some reason. We'll do some predictions. We'll do some Q&A. We'll quick look ahead to tomorrow. But yeah, won't stay live for too long after the stream because a lot of people, particularly on the Saturday streams, tend to vanish quite quickly. So I can save some of my amazing moans and rambles for tomorrow if we need to. So thank you to Takeru. Thank you very much for popping on. Again, I'm terrible with names, so I do apologise. Blame my Englishness, but I appreciate you coming along. How many DNFs this weekend do you think? I only put one down on my predictions, actually, Maya. I only put one down. So, but looking at that grid, there's going to be some action, isn't there? There's going to be some wheel-to-wheel stuff going on. So I would argue the Saubers are somewhat out of position given their recent form, so they're going to come through. That's going to result in potential contact, not because of the Saubers, but because of cars out of position, which could then result in some other stuff as well. So, yeah. See you later, Clansome. And thank you to Brett as well. Appreciate you both popping along. Thank you so much. Hope to see you tomorrow. But yeah, no, I'll go. I said 1 on Thursday. I'll have to stick with that for the official predictions that I do. But we'll go with 3 tomorrow. 1 mechanical and 1 as a result of a collision between 2 drivers. Probably no my luck, the Ferraris, but there you go. It's England, just assume it's mostly sunny with an annoying shower around midday. Pretty much sums up the UK very nicely there. If you're not from the UK and you wonder what our summers look like, watch the British Grand Prix. It's generally that. Muggy, overcast, and just, yeah, I'm not a summer person. Sam and I, for no reason whatsoever, are ranking our seasons when we were working the other day, because that's how hard we work. And I put summer bottom of mine, and I think I caused a bit of controversy with him. I think he's fallen out on me now, so there you go. I'm usually an advocate for chaos, but for a change, I just want a nice, hard-fought race tomorrow. Yes. Just put every driver pushing it to the line, but not over it. We don't need a load of accidents, nothing like that. Just a good, fun race. I know a lot of people, we've had this conversation before, haven't we, Red Raven? Not necessarily me and you, but on the streams. But a lot of people think that chaos equals a good race. And you sort of say, you know, what's the greatest race of all time? Oh, well, the Belgian Grand Prix of 98 or whatever. And you're like, entertainment-wise, yeah. But in terms of great races for great racing and great drives, would you rate Kimi Raikkonen at Suzuka above Belgium 98 as a race? As entertainment, chaos, yeah, great stuff, but as a race, nah. Yeah. Just a random point there. Justin says, with a newborn in my life, what a treat it has been to be up at all hours of the morning and night here in Vancouver, Canada, to catch your live streams now, Sean. Bravo, mate. There you go. Positive to everything, Justin. Hope everything's all right at home. Thank you so much for coming along, mate. Good to see you, and hope everything's good at home, and the newborn is all good and not knackering you out too much. I imagine it's a bit much, but a dog is enough for me to keep me up at night. So yeah, I couldn't imagine with a baby. But yeah, hope all's well, mate. Good to see you. Boss test will start 16 after Bearman takes penalty. So let's do that then. So I'll tell you what. Let's run through the order then. I am going to pause for timestamp, but I don't need a drink because it's not as hot today, so I'm not dying or melting. So that's always a positive. Max Verstappen is on pole position for the 2025 British Grand Prix. A big surprise, actually. Nobody in the live chat predicting that one. I didn't predict that one either, but he has done it with a cracking lap right at the end. A tenth of a second clear of Piastri, who made a mistake on his final run. Norris, third place. He made a mistake on his final run, only 100th off his teammate. George Russell, 14th. Fourth, not 14th. Sorry, George. Fourth place for George. 5th for Lewis Hamilton. He made a bit of a mistake as well in his final run. 600ths off Russell and 2/10 off pole. Leclerc only 6th. Never really looked in the running for pole in that final session, but not a million miles away from his teammate. 26 thousandths of a second if you prefer that. Antonelli a bit further back, 2.5 tenths is 7th place. Ollie Bearman in 8th, about a tenth of Antonelli. I would say only is fair to say for Bearman, 6 tenths off the fastest time, but he will start 18th tomorrow when he takes a 10-place grid penalty. Fernando Alonso, 9th place, a tenth and a half off the car ahead, which is Bearman, so he'll start 8th. Gasly, he'll move up to 9th, but he was 10th today. Carlos Sainz was eliminated in Q2. He will move into the top 10. Tsunoda will move up a place as well. He was 12th today. 13th for Hadjar, 14th for Albon, 15th for Ocon, 16th for Lawson, 17th for Bortoletto, 18th for Stroll, 19th for Hulkenberg, and 20th for Franco Colapinto, who crashed in Q1, got going again, then pulled over and stopped because of potential damage. Don't know for sure yet, though. We'll say, though, don't forget, yes, Bearman drops 10 places. Antonelli also drops 3. So Alonso and Gasly will move up more places too. So good stuff for them. But that is your grid for tomorrow. Very much looking forward to it. Nice. It's nothing against McLaren, but it's nice to see a Verstappen. It would have been great if Hamilton had been there too, or Leclerc or Russell. When you've got a car ahead of the dominant McLaren, it means that we're not going to have a runaway situation like Austria. Although, let me know what you think, but I don't feel like this weekend has had that vibe about it at all. So this could be a pretty close one. And we've talked a lot in this stream about, if you're clicking on the timestamp later for just a result on the end of stream waffle, we talked a lot earlier about how Jose Mourinho there, presenting the pole position award to Max Verstappen, the best Manchester United manager post Fergie, and I don't even think it's close. But there you go. Maybe Ruben Amorim's the one, who knows. Anyway, I was just going to say, we were talking earlier about Max Verstappen and how you can't ever rule him out, and then he turns up and does this out of what, not seemingly nowhere, because he was quick this morning in FP3, but nobody was really talking about Verstappen for pole, and there you go. So important to get the lap right, not make mistakes, and there you go. You get pole position. Going to be good tomorrow. Very much looking forward to that one. So get your questions in chat. We'll do 10-15 minutes of Q&A, then we'll do some predictions, and then we will call it a day from there. I'm back tomorrow, of course, for the race watch-along, so lots we can get into then. Once we've got the grid finalised and we know what's happening, we can do a bit more then. But thank you, MD Games, member for 16 months. I keep meaning to do something for memberships. I do need to chase that up, though. I did raise it a couple of months back now, actually, so I'll chase it up and see what we can do, because we might be able to offer something for that, because I know you're doing it to support the channel and to support me, but it's always nice to be able to give something back, so we'll see. But thank you for your support, mate. Really appreciate that, as always. Inessa says, wait, which Ferrari lost the pole? So Leclerc in Q3 didn't look like he was going to get pole at any point. Hamilton was pretty quick in the first sector. I think he was purple, wasn't he? Was quick in the middle sector, but then in the final sector, he sort of on the entry to that final. Is that Vale? I want to say Vale. I get the corner names mixed up at Silverstone. Now they've changed it. By now they've changed it. I mean, a long time ago, but you know what I mean. Got it a bit wrong on entry. Sort of touched the grass a bit, which might have compromised him. So may have lost some time there. But Verstappen's lap was just so good. So see you later, Annette. Hope you're well. Go get some sleep, and we'll catch up tomorrow. Hopefully you'll dream of a Piastri win. There you go. Who gets the best start tomorrow? Says Mike. Hamilton P3 by the time we get to the loop, which is turn 3, 4, 5. There you go. There you go. Verstappen, 12 seconds clear by the end of the lap. All done. There you go. Sorted. Alonso starts best of the rest. That could also be fun, says Red Raven. Great shout. He will start. So he'll go above Bearman, won't he? And Antonelli. So he'll be 7th. So that's a really good spot for Alonso. I don't know why I had to clarify that. I know what best of the rest is. It's 7th place at the moment. It would be 8th if Red Bull had a second car in there, but there you go. If Oscar or Lewis didn't F up their Sector 3s, man, says Chiori. Yeah, I think Piastri probably lost more time than Hamilton. Would you agree? Because Oscar's looked like it looked like a bigger mistake. We won't know, obviously, until telemetry now is released and they tell us, but I feel like Piastri was a slightly bigger mistake. So maybe Hamilton still wouldn't have been pole, but I think he could have been I mean, he's 600, 700 off Russell, so he could have been fourth. He could have been third because it was only 19 thousandths. I'll pick a format in a bit, don't worry. 19 thousandths between Russell and Norris. So, but it did look very much like a bigger mistake from Piastri. But yeah, I'm not driving his car, so I don't know. So, Yuki is 11th, and we'll start 11th as well because Ante's only dropping 3 places. So. Oh, of course. Yeah, sorry, Red Raven. It would be nice, wouldn't it? Because 8th place, you'd have your top 8. Yeah, sorry. Yeah, sorry. Don't apologise for correcting me, Red Raven, at all. As long as you correct me with facts. There's one thing I've talked about it a lot. Something I hate about doing this is when people put words in my mouth. But the thing that annoys me more is when they, like, correct me with things that are not true. So if you ever need to correct me, as long as it's factual, I don't care. So don't apologise, mate, at all. It's just, yeah. Oh, I think you'll find that Sebastian Vettel never drove for Toro Rosso. I think he did. Won a race with him. But anyway. Kaibo says, oh, wow, Max on top. So surprised. A lot of people surprised. You're not the only one. So there you go. Yeah, because he lost a lot of time in Sector 2 as well. But Lewis Hamilton was well up, says Kaori. Yeah, Piastri was down. I wonder if he made a mistake in Sector 2 as well, maybe. But he was down because he was pretty quick, was Piastri, in that first sector. Yeah, well, I'll have a look. Post quali when we get all the laps in on socials and all the data and that, and I'll see if we remember to pick it up tomorrow. But I think by tomorrow we won't care anymore. We'll just want to watch the race, won't we? So Pascal says midfield battle will be epic tomorrow. Sauber has good race pace and tyre wear. I believe points are still possible. Look, Ocon's pulled out some incredible results lately, hasn't he, from well down the grid? So there's no reason why Sauber on current form couldn't do it as well. So there you go. Yeah. Oh, the yellows on the map. Sorry, that's I believe, unless it's changed, that is effectively marshals on track sweeping stuff up and things like that. So, yeah. They all tried, but one man came out on top. Cometh the hour, cometh the man, says Jithyu. Yeah, again, for about the 5th time in the last 10 minutes. It was a surprise for everybody. It was the middle sector when he came through. He just caught it on the TV out the corner. It was 2.5 tenths up, and I was like, wow, this guy's flying. So yeah, tomorrow's going to be really interesting. That's a really good grid as well. Really good grid. I think Bearman is clearly quick this weekend, so he's going to be coming through the field. As I've just said, Ocon seems to be able to pull a result out. So yeah, I think there's more pace in that Williams in 11th and 14th. So it's just going to be so tight. It's going to be so tight. And then you've got the bat at the front. Don't forget the leaders. Piastri championship leader. He'll want to take the fight to Verstappen. Norris will want to win on home soil. If you are a big British driver supporter, by the way, 3rd, 4th, 5th and 8th isn't bad at all. All in the top 10, so there you go. What's the weather looking like, says Kevin. That's a great question, Kevin. Let's have a look. I'll go to the FIA one, the official feed. Sunday. Ooh. Interesting. So according to FIA, 60% in the morning. That then drops to 40%, but by lights out, it's down to 20%. But don't forget, we did get a little bit of rain, a bit of drizzle, when it was 30% earlier. So I'll go and check the Met Office, who are so reliable. Yeah, they're saying about the same, 10 to 20% for rain. So, but it is going to be overcast all day, and when it's overcast in the UK, it could rain at any point. So it might happen. I saw 60, then I went, oh, hang on a minute. But no, it does drop off quite a bit. So that's the forecast for tomorrow. Might suit Max, might suit McLaren, sorry. So I do think a wet race tomorrow, Max disappears with it. And your podium will be Verstappen, Hamilton, Piastri or something like that. So Min wants to know what position Bortoletto is starting from. We think 16th because Bearman will drop to 18th. So Bortoletto will move at 1 to 16th place. So not bad at all there. So what is your response to the rumours of Max move to Mercedes, says Kaibo? I said earlier, I won't say 100% because in F1 anything can happen and it usually does. But I'm 99.9% sure, as good as certain, that Max Verstappen will still be at Red Bull in 2026. What happens beyond that, 2027, who knows? Next season, Mercedes may well be the team to beat, as the rumours suggest, or at least have the best power unit. Red Bull might be absolutely diabolical. They might be the 5th fastest team or something like that. So Max may look at it differently next year, but I think he'll stay where he is. see how things are next year with the regulation change. If things are okay at Red Bull and he's competitive enough to fight for wins, he'll probably stay for 27. But if the car's terrible and there's a clear favourite going for the title, then maybe that'll change. The problem for Max Verstappen, though, I would say, is if, let's say, everything stays as it is, but Mercedes are comfortably the team to beat and they do something crazy like a 2014 domination thing, are you going to drop Russell or Antonelli, who are winning races, and one of them will win a world championship for Max Verstappen? You might say yes, but it becomes a more difficult decision to make, doesn't it, than it is today, let's say. So, yeah, but I think Max will stay where he is for now. There's always this thing. I don't picture Max Verstappen in anything other than Red Bull overalls. That's because that's all we've ever really seen him. And even Toro Rosso was Red Bull, wasn't it? Just a junior team. So I think he stays where he is, probably even to the end of his contract, but certainly for next year. Certainly for next year. Everything could change, though. Like I say, if the car's dreadful and that, you know, if Red Bull's the slowest car, he'll move on. He's not going to stay there to be last, is he? But let's see. But yeah, 2026, Max stays where he is. I think Mercedes will keep Russell and Antonelli. I think Antonelli's been okay, fine. He's not been great. He's had a couple of glimpses where he's really impressed, but he's been, for the most part, not the worst thing I've seen, but he is still a kid. It's his first season in F1. He skipped F3 to get to F1, didn't he? Through going straight into F2 and then into F1. So big boots to fill as well. So I think they called Antonelli's season a Joker season on Sky the other day. I tend to agree with that. You know, give him the year and see how he is. So, but I think they'll probably keep him for next season. I don't see much changing at the sharp end. The only question mark really is over Tsunoda's seat as far as I'm concerned, and that could be Hadjar. It could be that Tsunoda gets in the simulator at Milton Keynes in the summer with the 2026 car and is absolutely nailing it, and they think, actually, let's keep him for next year. But yeah, if I were Red Bull, honestly, I would take these conversations between Max Verstappen and Mercedes as a warning, and I would focus on getting the best driver available in that second seat. It doesn't need to be a Red Bull Junior. I'd be looking at the best driver available in that second seat so that your backside is covered if and when Max Verstappen does decide to jump ship. Because if he goes at the end of this season, they are screwed. So that's what I would do. But there's no common sense in F1, so they probably won't. But, you know, Bottas, maybe not. But somebody like that, experienced, quick, proven, get him in that car. That's my view there. So Ben says Max is the worst F1 champion ever to be in the sport. When did you start watching, Ben? Because I can think of a few that are far worse than Max Verstappen. Have a great day, everyone, says Kevin. Have a good one, mate. Hope happy birthday, 14th. Oh, is it your daughter's 14th today? Happy birthday to your daughter, Kevin. Have a good one. Go and enjoy your family time and hopefully have a beer or two. Why not? There you go. Georgie to Red Bull says surprises. No, I'd be shocked if he goes there with Verstappen still there, but that is a lineup that could be quite tasty. So I'll say, yeah, why not? Why not? Verstappen just is not a plug-and-play guy, even the more laid-back. Hamilton struggles with adapting to Ferrari after all. Yeah. I don't know. I feel like I'm in the minority with this one, though. I'm kind of a bit bored about the whole thing. It just seems to be... If this is the first you're hearing about Verstappen and Mercedes, then maybe not. But it's been rumbling around for years, hasn't it? This idea that he'll go to Mercedes one day, and they have these conversations, and ultimately everyone sits down at Red Bull. They have a nice conversation, maybe a couple of Red Bulls, and, you know, chill out, vodka Red Bulls maybe, and then they thrash it out, and it's all fine. So I that tends to be the way it goes when we get these rumours. So I don't think he'll go anywhere for now. It's also risky. You know, Red Raven will make the point in chat as well. Just because Mercedes are rumoured to have the best engine doesn't mean A, it's the best engine because it's a rumour, and B, what's the reliability like? What have they done with the chassis? So it doesn't mean anything. It's still a risk. Red Bull have proven with inferior engines before that they can have a good chassis. Yes, they've lost Adrian Newey, I know, but they can still have a good chassis to make up for that and still be fighting for wins. Max Verstappen won races in 16, 17, 18, 19, I think, despite never having the best car. You know, so he can do it. Someone's going to say he didn't win any one of those years now, so I'm going to go and preempt that so I can argue back correct myself is the point I'm making, but I'm pretty sure he's won in every year he's been in F1 bar 15. And that's because he was in a Toro Rosso, for goodness sake, but I'll just double check. But 16 1 win, 17 2 wins, 2 in 18, 3 in 19, 2 in 20, 10 in 21, 15 22, 19 in 2023. Still makes me gasp. And 9 in 24 and 2 this year already, so it could be 3 tomorrow. So, you know, again, back to what I said earlier, never rule him out. Never rule him out. Yeah. Yeah, I don't know what to say to that, really. I've forgotten the point because I've gone and read all that now. I've got all intrigued. But yeah, I've now highlighted all of chat for some reason, so bear with me a second while I try and fix that mess. There we go. Max enjoyed his car will be as dominant as he is in the Red Bull car. I have no doubt about that, says Sports Made. Morrow says there is a non-zero chance this is Russell's last F1 season. Interesting. Mr. Bungle says so many brain dead people in chat. I don't think I don't think our chat's ever too bad, to be honest. You'll get one or two, but I just I'll read the odd comment out if it's worth reading, but generally I'll ignore stuff like that. So, but then again, I only get top chat. I don't know what you're looking at. You might be looking at something completely different to me. I'm not interested in the nonsense that comes with it. I've said this before. I'm kind of just done with the whole. I love doing YouTube. I'm never going to go anywhere unless, you know, I die or something. But wow, that's morbid. Why'd you get so dark? Christ, sure, cheer up. But yeah, that's what the wine's for. But the social, what I would call, I don't really class YouTube as social media, but I suppose it is. But you know what I mean when I say social media. I just don't really bother with that anymore because it's just a hellhole. So what's the point? And it's the same with chat. If I see a bunch of people that are just being dicks for no reason, I just ignore. It used to really great, and I used to bite back. I will occasionally bite back, but not like I used to. If you were here back in day, Sean would spend 20 minutes shouting at one person for no reason. And that there are exceptions to that. Have been a few people over the years who have spent weeks on end pushing my buttons and then got upset when I bit back. But yeah, anti-social media is what it is these days. Is Red Raven absolutely? I can't see Russell losing a seat, not being in F1. That was what we were talking about, weren't we? I can't see him not being in F1 next year. But then I suppose actually, Moray, you know, if you want to go deeper than that, there's a non-zero chance that any of these drivers won't be on the grid next year. So they're all at risk, aren't they, in their own ways? So I'd just be very surprised. I could see, I mean, they're talking about, Red Ravens talking to Moray, and Moray's responding, but which midfield space team has space? Alpine. I'd rather go to wet than Alpine if I was Russell, says Moray. That's a fair point, but he has spoken to Flav. But I think, look, it's all, maybe this is a conversation for next year, but I think Max stays where he is. Russell stays where he is, and it all ends up coming to nothing, as is often the case. But it's, what I will say is don't forget that this is the same guy who sat here on a Sunday night after a race and said there's absolutely no way Fernando Alonso goes to Aston Martin. And then, was it 16 hours later, it was announced that he was going to Aston Martin. So what do I know? It's just a gut feeling. Just a gut feeling. It'd be a bit like seeing Vettel in a Ferrari. Whilst it was cool and it did kind of fit, it'll still be weird seeing him not in Red Bull gear. So maybe he's there for life. I don't know. Or in 3 weeks' time, we hear of a bumper new contract for Max Verstappen or something like that. But yeah. It has ended, yes, vintage. Max Verstappen on pole, Oscar Piastri second, Lando Norris third, George Russell fourth, Hamilton fifth, Leclerc sixth, Antonelli seventh, Bearman eighth, ninth for Alonso, 10th for Gasly. Bearman taking a 10-place grid drop for an FP3 red flag infringement, and Antonelli will take a 3-place drop for hitting Max Verstappen in Austria. So, yeah, it is done. We're just having a bit of a post-stream waffle. I will be ending in a few. I'm going to get some dinner. I don't know what I'm having tonight for dinner. Haven't decided yet, so not curry again. That was terrible. So yeah. I was going to read. I read a comment and I'm not able to find it now. It always happens. Yeah, not going to find it now. It might come around again. Can Christian Horner lose his job? Like, why did everyone get over the allegations so quickly? Says Maya. If he didn't lose them, if he hasn't lost his job to this point, he's not going to lose it now. But I think, from a sporting point of view, I still stand by what I said last week. I think it was last week. If Horner loses Verstappen, I think there would be the potential for a change at the top, because that's not, to lose Newey and Wheatley and everyone else who's gone, and for the car to drop off like it has, to put all your eggs in one basket and then lose that basket, that's not great management. So I think there's a lot of pressure on Christian Horner over all of this with Max Verstappen, and that's why I think it'll all sort itself out. But we'll see. Too much babble between Russell and Red Bull, says Moray. Will there be nope, that's not going to read that one. That's not what I was trying to read anyway. Yeah, I think... Right, predictions then. Give me your top 3 for tomorrow in chat. I'll read a few out, and then we'll end for today, and then we'll pick up tomorrow, because I'm sure there's lots we can talk about tomorrow as well. I will say, apparently thunderstorms in my neck of the woods tomorrow, so hopefully that's not going to cause any problems, but we'll see. You never know. Sniffer dogs around the paddock for some reason. Oh, well, security is the reason, isn't it? Well, there you go. Yeah, so get your top 3 in, or your winner for tomorrow, and let me know. I will go with... So if it's dry, which at the moment it looks like it will be, but that could change. Piastri, Norris, Verstappen. I know, boring, aren't I? If it's wet, Verstappen, Hamilton, Piastri is my predictions there. Why not? You don't need to do 2, but yeah, we'll see how we go. Moray says Verstappen, Piastri and Hulkenberg as a top 3. Want to see that race. Valentine says Max, Oscar and Lewis as the top 3. Cafe 88 Racer says Max, Hamilton and Oscar. Ben says Lewis, Norris and Piastri. Mike says Piastri, Verstappen, Hamilton. Kaori says Oscar, Norris and Hamilton. Dirk has gone with Piastri, Norris and Hamilton. I see a pattern here. It's a combination of 3 for the most part. And that's unless it rains. Yeah, I think the rain would change things a bit, wouldn't it? But Pascal says Piastri, Verstappen, Hamilton, and with a bit of luck, points for Sauber. Would that be... How many races in a row would that be for Sauber? Because they went on a run, didn't they? With Bottas a few years ago. And they were getting towards not matching that, but it was their best run for a while. So would that be 4 on the bounce? Something like that. So that'd be good to see. William... says, am I crazy for believing Max is slowly entering top 4 of all time talks? That's definitely a conversation for another day. I know one person in chat who will disagree. But yeah. Maya says Verstappen, Hamilton and Piastri. Sportsmate says Max, Norris and Piastri. Pepsi Cola was hoping Lewis Hamilton started top 3 tomorrow. 5th place isn't bad, and it is close out there. So let's see what the race pace is like. I think it was the... Was it Zach Brown or Andrea Stella who said that they thought the race pace of the Ferraris was pretty good, so they might still be a bit of a threat. Pascal, 4 if we score tomorrow, so it is 4 in a row. I thought it was. Williams gone with Piastri, Max and Norris. And Sportsman says, we're forgetting how bad the Ferrari race pace is. That came through just as I was saying that about Zach Brown, but or Andrea Stella. So we'll see tomorrow, but there is optimism there. But at the same time, it's Ferrari, so it could be a 1-2 tomorrow, or they could end up 9th and 10th. You know what they're like. There doesn't ever feel like there's any middle ground, he says, as Ferrari literally sit on the timing tower in the middle ground of the top 10, but you know what I mean. I was going to say Barson. You asked us Leclerc, Verstappen and Hamilton. And those are your predictions for tomorrow. Rev River says Hamilton, Norris, Piastri, I believe, unironically. Interesting. Could be a good race, though. Could be a good race. Odds of Bearman scoring points tomorrow, I think he can do it, says Dirk. Yeah, I mean, look, Esteban Ocon, I've said it a couple of times now in this stream, he's come from well down, hasn't he? And then gone on and picked up points in race with good strategies. There's no reason why Bearman can't do the same. So he's got a chance. I think Gasly is out of position. I think he's done a great job to get that car up there because that Alpine's been nowhere all weekend, or most of the season, to be fair. So there is a spot up for grabs. Who knows? He's got a chance. But we'll leave it there for today because it's time for me to go and see those monsters downstairs, the dogs. 2 of them. Good Lord. 2. I'll kick my partner out. It's just easier. But I will be back tomorrow with the race watch along from 2:30 p.m. BST. That's UK time. Right now, of course. So back tomorrow with that one, 2:30 p.m. Please do drop a like before you go. We got to 166 likes in the end, so thank you so much for your support. If you haven't done a like already, please do drop a like, because it really does help the channel in that fight with those pesky YouTube algorithm gods, and subscribe as well if you are new. Lots to come this season. I'll say it again, live tomorrow from 2:30 p.m. UK time. Then we've got Thomas with you on Monday, Sam's with you Tuesday and Wednesday. I'm back later in the week with some long form content as well, and then there'll be some more evergreen stuff, and then we're gearing up for the weekends of Spa and Hungary. So a real team effort to try and get your daily content on the channel, and I'm loving it. And I think most of you, I'm going to say the silent majority, certainly seem quite happy with it. So that's the most important thing. So appreciate your support as always. But as ever, thank you for watching. I've been Sean. This has been the F1 Word. And until next time, goodbye.